back to Rays of Tarot, or welcome if you are new. I am so freaking excited to get into today's reading, today's pick a pile, because we are essentially going to we're going to channel your heart, okay? We're going to leave a blank slate to your heart to come through to you with whatever it is essentially that it needs you to know. So it could be about blockages, it could be about unprocessed pain, it could be about pretty much anything. It doesn't have to be necessarily shadow work. We will see, like, it will differ for every pile, so definitely feel free to pick more piles if you feel called to. I'm doing my best to like color code the piles recently, so that's my new thing. I hope you guys like that as well, because it's very satisfying to my Virgo ass. Anyways, what we're going to do in these readings is we're not going to ask anything in specific. It's just offering a space and some time for you to connect with your heart, okay? If you know me either personally or if you have been watching my channel for a little while now, you will know pretty much where I stand when it comes to the heart and all that shebang. So I felt really called, actually, it was like a pull actually, to do a reading that was completely centered around the heart. So definitely also leave me a comment down below letting me know how you like this idea, if I should do this more often, perhaps also if I should do this with more chakras, like if you guys want to have like a specific reading from, I don't know, your third eye chakra or your sacral or your solar plexus or anything like that, because I would love to, but I don't know if you guys would like that as well. So definitely let me know if you would like that. For the piles today, we have 4 different groups. The first pile will be the White Sage Tarot with this Brews Jade Tower or point, whatever you want to call it. This is not brews as in like a sore or something, but it's brews as in like a tea brew or like a beer brew. I don't know why it's called like that, but it was a pretty dope crystal, so there you go. Pile 2 will be the True Heart Intuitive Tarot with this Deli Jasper Tower Point crystal. Pile 3 will be the Prism Tarot from the 8th house. There's like a bunch of Prism Tarots and Prism Oracles out there, but this one is the one from the 8th house. And this gorgeous blue Caribbean Calcite Tower or point. And pile 4 will be the Moonchild Tarot with this absolutely gorgeous white Afghan Jade Tower. Definitely do feel free to take some time with the piles to find out which one is calling you the most. It's totally okay to feel called to more than one pile, as there might just be different messages about different things for you in different piles. So definitely have some fun, see what you want to do, just enjoy yourself. Definitely feel free to leave me a comment down below how your pile or piles resonate, as it means the world to me to know how my readings land on the other end of the screen. And also feel free to leave a like and subscribe, as that really helps me with the algorithm. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in your pile. Hi pile 1, welcome to your reading. If you chose this Brews Jade as well as the White Sage Tarot, this is going to be a reading all about and from your heart chakra, your heart space at this time, okay? So I'm really excited to get into this reading for you. We will go first into these pre-shuffled oracles that I have for you, and just a little bit to see what your heart wants to talk to you about. This will likely just describe a lot the energy of your heart right now, like how you're doing with regards to your heart at this time of you finding this video. This is a timeless reading, so keep that in mind. It should be good for whenever it is that you find it. Also remember that if this does not resonate with you, if this does not feel like it's your heart that we're talking about or that is talking to you, then definitely feel free to choose another pile. Yeah, and then afterwards we're going to look into the tarot to basically see a little bit more in depth what your heart wants you to know. We can see if some type of question arises for you personally. And at the end of each pile, we will take some advice for you as well and channel messages from your heart. Okay, so without further ado, let's see what we have here for you from your heart. We have Star Family. You're a part of a team of souls. Call in support. Then we have number 15 with hiding. Always some ash because I'm lighting like incense and candles before every reading, so then yeah, if you see things like that on the table, that's what it is. Next we have number 22 with service. Then we have I keep my own counsel. Next we have number 44, so 2 master numbers already, and number 6, which is also the number of divine love. We love to see that. White buffalo woman with hopeful heart, see her sign. Then we have the 5th house. And last but not least, we have the way of faith. Let faith be your guide. So the very first message that I feel called to convey to you from your heart at this time is, it's a bunch of things. It's okay to be sensitive. You're not too sensitive. It's okay to have a lot of emotions. It's okay to feel sad and overwhelmed and just I want to say, you might be someone who is scared of coming across as very needy to others. You might be someone who, you're definitely a very soft, gentle, like your heart, at least your heart space is very soft and gentle. Pastel color, like we do have some pastel pink and like this pastel aqua green over here. That's definitely the vibe of your heart. You're very sensitive. You might be an artist. Well, first of all, we do have the 5th house, which might be like, you might have Leo placements. It doesn't have to be absolutely, but this could also represent the fact that you are someone who's very creative, and someone who is very expressive, like that you need to channel or express your own emotions into art. That might be things like painting or writing or creating any sort of thing. With this hiding card, I do feel like you might not be super, like you might also do something like singing or dancing or some type of body work or something like that. But you might not be super confident about that, and like you might feel a little afraid of putting those things in your work and your art out there. Because it's very, very vulnerable. Like you put a lot of your emotion and your heart and soul in your craft or your art, whatever it is that you do to express yourself. Like this could be some type of hobby, like this could be anything that it is that you do because you want to do it, not necessarily because it's a job or because you're required to do it from like school or work or whatever. But you might be someone who is very much holding back. Like your heart, first of all, your heart loves you. Your heart loves you so much. There is so much freaking love that is coming through just to you at this time from your own heart space. And I guess that could be your higher self as well coming through you through this pile. Because I guess, well, the heart space, the heart when it is in its pure is like most open, evolved, I want to say, form. That is, our higher self will always act from our heart. And what your heart wants you to know is that you're kind of trapping yourself. You're kind of keeping yourself caged. There's this, you're very aware of your heart and your feelings, and you might be someone who's very much in touch with their intuition and just like their heart and their emotions. But you're sort of like keeping yourself caged. Like you're not allowing yourself to sort of like bursting open. Like you're not really allowing your heart to come through in its full power, and that's also what is blocking you from essentially becoming your greatest version. Like you might be someone who is a little shy, who struggles a lot with anxiety, probably things like social anxiety. You might also have some blockages around intimacy. You might like actually be, it doesn't have to resonate with everyone, of course. Like this will differ in extent for everyone. But you might have a lot of anxiety around intimacy, both physical and also like emotional. Like you might really struggle to put your emotions into words, or to even, you might sort of like black out. If someone is in front of you and they ask you like how you're doing, or like if they're offering you a chance to talk about your emotions and talk about how your heart is doing and how you're doing in general, you might sort of like black out and just like have no idea of what to say. Like your mind might literally just like beep, just like black completely. because there's this block, there's this fear of letting your heart, I want to say, come through your throat chakra as well. Journaling might be a practice that is very beneficial to you. Just like writing things, like the fact that you, like, if you're not someone who puts out their emotions into art or like journaling or any type of craft or movement or activity, things like that, that might definitely be something that you want to look into. If that's something that you have dropped over the years and like slacked upon, this is definitely a call, like a call from your heart to you to sort of pick that up again and do that again, because that's something that you need to do. Like, you need to have those emotions flowing, because now I'm really seeing sort of like your heart being caged, like a bird, like a bird cage essentially. And there's this whirling of emotions and energy, and beautiful energy. It's not like dark negative energy. There's a lot of love and light, I want to say, inside of your heart that is sort of like waiting to be shut out into the world. But you're kind of keeping that a little closed off inside of your chest. Like, even this image, like there's this woman just keeping her hands and her wrists crossed over her heart. And this card is also really telling me, like, I keep my own counsel. Like, you might be someone who really thinks that they have to do things on their own, that you have to sort your own shit out before actually going to someone and talk about it. Like, you might be one of those people who does a lot of emotional processing on your own, and you really wait until the moment that you have processed it completely before you actually tell someone. Like, if you have a problem with someone, or like if you feel hurt by something that somebody else did, you might not even confront them with that, because you're really scared of being naked in front of them, of being that vulnerable. And this might be a very subconscious pattern, so it's not like that you actively think like, oh, I don't want to be seen as vulnerable. But the truth is, there is this block. It's not necessarily a blockage, because your heart is like, there's a lot of like free flowing energy to your heart, but you're keeping it caged. Like, the blockage is around your heart chakra. It's not necessarily inside of it. Like, you might be someone who has a very strong heart and strong heart chakra, but it's not really reaching out into the world. It's not really reaching other people when it comes to your own self. Like, you might be very supportive and very loving to other people. Like, with this service card, you might actually have Virgo placements. This definitely sounds like a lot like Virgo placements, or Libra, I want to say as well. Doesn't have to be, of course, but with this service card, I feel like you might be someone who is very much like, touch might be one of your touch and acts of service might be one of your main love languages. You might just be a very kind and gentle and loving person. You might just like do little acts of kindness and gentleness, like, I don't know, give your friend like a little comforting touch if they're opening up to you, or offer to do them, like make them a cup of tea or things like that. Just like little acts of kindness just like mean the world to you, and they come so easily to you because you are so loving and so in touch with your heart, and you definitely move from your heart. But you might have a little huge struggle with actually allowing others to sort of pay you back that same kindness and loving energy that you offer them. Like, you might be someone who struggles accepting gifts, or struggles accepting, like, for instance, if you like giving people massages, you might feel really uncomfortable when someone is actually saying like, oh, do you want me to give you a massage, like let me rub your back or something like that, because you really feel uncomfortable with receiving. It's very interesting energy, definitely, because like, there's this duality. That's also what I'm saying, Libra energy. There's this duality between your heart is so strong and bright, but at the same time it's nowhere near being its greatest potential. Why? Because you're keeping it so stuck within yourself. Or like, you are keeping yourself stuck by not allowing you to express your heart. That's what I want to say. Like, there's this need to express your heart and to sort of like let your heart be bursted open. I'm thinking there's some yoga, like asanas, practices that are really helpful, like especially like with movements of the chest, of course, to open up the heart space. Things like singing bowls that resonate with the heart center might be also useful to you to work with. And just, yeah, heart opening. Like, you want to make feel other people safe, but you yourself don't really feel safe with other people. Like, you don't trust people with your heart. And I think that might be definitely something that the reason why you want to be a safe space for others is because you want to be essentially, like, you want to be the person that you need. You're being the person that you need to be for yourself with other people, and you're not really allowing other people to extend that same energy to you. With this hiding card is one of my favorite cards of this deck. It says, are you hiding because you're crying, or are you crying because you're hiding? And sometimes, like, it is okay to, like, want to hide instead of, like, retreat and go in hermit mode, which is also the card of Virgo, for a while, and just, like, detach completely from the world, because you need to sort of, like, recharge and get in tune with yourself. And sometimes you might just literally need to be on your own to do that. But it gets unhealthy if that's all you do, if you're always there for others but never for yourself, and if you never allow others to see you. You have a really hard time allowing other people to see you and to see your heart and to see your own emotions. Like, you definitely might talk a lot about emotions, but you might struggle showing your emotions. You might definitely be someone who hides their face, or, like, pulls the cover over their head when they're crying, because you don't want to be seen in such a state. Well, honestly, being vulnerable with other people is one of the most healing things that you can do for yourself and also for others, because when somebody is receiving your vulnerable energy, when someone is, like, the other person will feel that you're allowing them to see you in such a vulnerable and, like, authentic and raw state. And that is as equally healing for the other person as it is for you to actually let it out and sort of, like, drop your guards and drop that cage and set your heart free. I want to say your heart really definitely has this sort of, like, trapped, caged type of feeling to it. With this white buffalo woman, this also definitely talks a lot about reconciliation after separation with people. So definitely you might be someone who, this is not going to resonate with everyone, but some of you, this is a very specific message. You might just have had some type of separation, not necessarily, I'm not getting strongly on a romantic sense. Like, this could definitely just be, like, either this doesn't even have to be, like, a separation on a physical level. You might still be in contact with these people, for those of you this is going to resonate with, but it might be some type of, like, soul emotional detachment from people, or from someone that you really care about, or that you used to be very close to. And you might think, like, if they have hurt you, or if they haven't been receiving you, or if, like, whatever it is that you attribute the reason for this separation or this detachment from one another, whatever that reason might be, this is really inviting you to look at how you are not being authentic with them, and how you are not allowing them to see the real you. Because they might have been reflecting that back at you. Like, if you have been dealing with someone who is, like, a little avoidant, or someone who is scared of speaking up, like, they have definitely been reflecting that same mechanism back at you. And this is definitely an invitation of looking at how you are keeping your own self trapped and unseen. Like, you have to be willing to be seen, so that others cannot see you if you're not willing to be seen. Nobody is going to, like, come open that cage for you. Nobody has the freaking key. And even if somebody if somebody tells you, like, I want to see your heart and I want to see the rawness of your heart, they're not going to be able to open that cage for you. And so you are literally the only one who can do that. Like, you're really clinging to that cage for some reason. And that reason might be that you don't trust people with your heart. And you might sometimes be in a little bit of an overly protective mode of yourself, and that's exactly what is keeping you sort of, like, in this little bubble. And this little bubble that, even, like, at the end of the day, what it's doing is just, like, creating separation between people. Well, all that you crave and that you need and that you want is this connection, this beautiful, intimate connection with people. But if you keep yourself in this little bubble, in this little cage, then you're creating a barrier. Like, that's not a boundary. That's not a boundary. That's a wall. That's a separation. Okay, I think that's all we have for now. I'm very curious to see what the tarot has to say to you. So we're just going to ask the tarot. Whatever else you need to know about right now from your heart. What other messages from pile 1's heart do we have here today? What else does pile 1's heart chakra, heart space want pile 1 to know? Yeah, and that way of faith card, like let faith be your guide, is really calling you or asking you to trust in yourself a little more, to trust in your own, in the power of your heart a little more. Like there's this duality between I know how powerful my heart is and how beautiful and pure my heart is and how strong it is, and you're so in touch with your heart, but at the same time there is this fear around your heart. That's it. The cage is fear, if that makes sense. Okay, what other messages from pile 1's heart do we have? What does pile 1's heart want pile 1 to know? We have the 7 of Swords in reverse, which is of course like the card of distrust and of lack. Yeah, this white buffalo woman card is also talking a lot about abundance, like about not in a strictly financial way. Like abundance, we always think immediately about money and financial abundance when we hear the word abundance, but that's not what abundance is about. Abundance is a state of being and a state of perceiving the world, regardless of what it is about, like in a material sense. Like it's not only about material, indeed. It's about, it's also definitely about love. And that white buffalo woman card, hopeful heart, see her sign, is a lot about realizing that love, like you cannot give away too much love. Like if you give away too much love, it's not that you're going to be left without any love. It's not that if you give love to someone, there's going to be less love for anyone else. If anything, love is like a candle. Like if you light other candles, it's just going to be more love. Lighting another candle is not going to leave less fire for the existing candles. It's if anything, it's going to add to that power. And one of my favorite messages from that card is actually oh god, how was it? I don't recall it on top of my head, but it's something along the lines of self-love is the well that never runs dry. Self-love is that well of love that never runs dry, and you have to sort of fill. If you keep filling up your own well, your own cup, you will be able to give to others by overflow, by abundance of love for yourself. Like you cannot keep giving to others first before yourself. It's like, you know, when you're taking a plane and they say like, in case we're about to die and we lack oxygen, don't like, you have to secure your own mask and your own oxygen before you can help anyone else, because if you don't help yourself, then you cannot help others either. And that's essentially what that card is also about. That might be a very specific message for some of you, but yeah, had to come out. We also have the 6 of Swords. Yeah, you have to move away from distrust and from this skepticism, I want to say. You might sometimes feel like other people are not able to see you, or like they're not able to perceive you, but you might sometimes not even give people the chance to do so. Then we have the Magician, Mercury energy. What other messages does pile 1 need to hear from their heart chakra, their heart space? That card wants to come out. 9 of Pentacles. What else? What else does pile 1 need to hear about their heart right now this time? Oh, do we have to take those? I think we're gonna take those. We have the Ace of Swords in reverse and the Knight of Cups. This deck is the cutest thing in the world. I cannot get over it. There we go. Let's take some clarifiers. Okay, I'm feeling called to shuffle again for some reason. about the Seven of Swords? We have the Devil, Capricorn energy. What about this Six of Swords? Somebody definitely has hurt you, either recently or... I want to say somebody might have been like very cold to you when you have been expressing emotions. Like somebody might have just been not very responsive to you when you have showed emotions. This might definitely be childhood trauma. Somebody might have been very, like, this might be a parent. This doesn't have to be, this could be an ex-lover for some of you. This might be just, this could be anyone. This is going to differ for everyone watching this. But I'm getting this strong energy of someone who has been very cold to you when you have expressed emotions. Someone who has not really been responsive, like they haven't been receiving your emotions. Like you have tried to offer your emotional self to someone and be vulnerable with them, but they haven't been responsive. They sort of like met you with a poker face or with like a blank face, or with little to no words, rather than meeting you with warmth and welcoming your emotions and being soft and gentle with you, which is what you needed and what you would have wanted to receive from them. So that's also why you are being that type of person with others, because you don't want other people to feel like you have been feeling. And that's really beautiful and really sad at the same time, and you definitely deserve this Star Family card. You're part of a team of souls called and support. This definitely does tell me that there are people around you that love you so freaking much. They might not be the most active people, but like if you will come to them, if you do come towards them, they will sort of like welcome you with open arms. And they want to see your heart, but that you might not even let them know when you're struggling, or like when you're not doing so well, so they don't even, like, some people are not always very much focused on asking their friends on how they're doing, and that's okay. Like some people are very much focused on other people and on sort of like that nurturing and caring type of energy. Some other people just aren't. Everyone is different. Like if you're into astrology, that you probably will know that everyone is just very different, and everyone expresses the elements and you know those energies in very different ways. You might definitely be someone who is a little bit more, like, you might be someone who is I was about to say you might have water element, but that doesn't have, like, I'm actually not getting that strongly, because you might, like, I'm getting that watery feeling, but at the same time a lot of like struggle with that. What, like, you might have Scorpio placements, for instance. Doesn't have to be. I don't remember what I was going with that. Oh no, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. Let's keep going. We have the Six of Swords clarified by the Two of Pentacles. This is straight away telling you, like, you let people come to you when they need, but are you also allowing yourself to go to people when you need? Like, the people that have hurt you, they might be in the past, they might be people that you... Oh, we have the King of Cups. Clarify the Magician. You definitely are the safe space for a lot of people. But are you allowing yourself, first of all, to be a safe space within yourself? For yourself, like within, are you a safe space for yourself? And second of all, allow yourself to go to your star family, to like your chosen family, to your friends, to people who care about you, because there are people around you with the star family card. There are people around you who would love to know when you're crying. They want, like, it's not that they would love to know that you're crying, it's that they would love to know when you're not doing so well, so that they can be there for you, they can listen to you, and they can show you that support. Because I'm getting strongly the vibe of people are so freaking grateful for you, but you might be like the strong friend, the one who is always doing, or like apparently always doing great. Yeah. People might think, like, you definitely have a lot of wisdom and a lot of like inner knowledge and emotional intelligence, I want to say. So people think that you have your shit together all the time. Like, I'm definitely getting strong Virgo energies with this. Again, the Service card and the Magician. People think that you have your shit together. People think that you are a very balanced out person that has like all their elements in a row, I want to say. And that's probably because, not intentionally, like you might offer a lot of wisdom and a lot of guidance to people because you care about helping and being of service to them and like of supporting them, and you love seeing people thriving, you love seeing people doing well and seeing people feeling seen. But then by not allowing yourself also to be vulnerable, people think that you have your shit together all the time, and then that's not the message that you necessarily want to give like actively, but that is the message that you're giving to people. If you're never admitting or like never showing that you also need a hug sometimes, that you need like words of affirmation sometimes, that you need a cuddle, that you need whatever it is. To clarify the Nine of Pentacles, we have the Nine of Cups. Yeah, that whole feeling of abundance, like that feeling of abundance you will never reach abundance. I want to say this might sound very harsh. You will never reach abundance only in a material sense. Like you have to have all the elements. Like you have to have, abundance is about all the elements. So like about physical material wealth, it is about emotional satisfaction and emotional fulfillment. It is about passion and going after your passions and inspiration. And it is also about like communication and mental clarity and all those aspects of life need fulfillment. Like there's so much potential for all areas of life, if you want to say. Like you might be someone who is very much focused on their own business or building their own legacy. And definitely with this Devil card and Virgo energy that I was getting earlier, and this earthy energy that is suddenly sort of like surging out of this pile. You definitely might be also a Taurus, like earth placements might be very significant. I'm being shown like the vision of a dry earth. So some of you actually might need to get more into that water element. What about the Ace of Swords in reverse? What about, we have the King of Pentacles. Yeah, you might just not tell people. Again, that's just confirming what I was saying earlier. Like you might be someone who is very much providing for everyone and having a lot on their plate and just like getting their shit together, or doing a lot of like badass boss bitch things and being very successful in some areas of life, but you might just not tell people when you're struggling. You might not be straightforward about your feelings. You might not be. For some of you, I'm getting you're not even clear about how you would want other people to be there for you. Probably because growing up you didn't have much support in that sense, and much emotional support. So you honestly don't know what being supported looks like. And this is calling you, like this Knight of Cups, this is literally calling you to just talk about that with your friends and the people that you care about. Literally, like if you don't know where to start, if you don't know how to express this to them, you can literally say to them like, listen, I've been coming to terms with the fact that I don't know how to be supported, that I don't know how to let myself be vulnerable. And then you can either have a conversation about that, or you can, I don't know, like you might have, if you have water placement friends, then you might just want to go to them because they might have some insight. But definitely there's this need of letting weight off your chest, of dropping those jail bars that you've been putting around your heart. Like if you can start small, you can literally just admit at where you are at this time. You don't have to sort of like open up this entire inner world to people if you don't know how to do that, or if you don't trust yourself or other people with doing that. You can literally just be honest and say like, listen, I don't have all my shit together. I'm actually really struggling, and if you don't know why you're struggling exactly, if there's not like one specific reason, then just say that. It doesn't have to be so difficult. It doesn't have to be difficult. Like it's okay. That's the main message that your heart wants to give you. Like it's okay to feel your emotions. It's okay to not know why you're having specific emotions. It's okay to cry. It's okay to feel like you don't know. It's okay to feel like you don't know. What about this King of Cups? the sun. Oh my god. Like, there's this image. Oh, wow. Look at what we have on the bottom of the deck. We have the Hermit. I love this card so much. And below that, we have the Knight of Swords and the Queen of Cups. Oh my god, look how cute she is. Anyways, this Knight of Cups, clarified by the sun, is really telling you that I'm getting this image of sitting, like going out for a cup of coffee with your friends and just chatting about, not necessarily thinking about what you should be talking about or like talking about like important things. Just chill and just express yourself. Just say how you feel. Like if you see a cute dog walking around the street, just like say, oh my god, that dog is so cute. Just express your heart and whatever it is that wants to come through to you and come out to you freely. Like, don't think about, does it sound stupid? Does it look ugly? Does it, how will it come across? Like, I'm getting strongly for you guys with this Queen of Cups also, that you guys might be coming to terms with the fact that you might have some type of psychic abilities, like clairsentience, clairvoyance, claircognizance. But you're also kind of trapping yourself with that because you're not allowing yourself to let that flow. And once you start letting that flow through your heart, through your throat chakra, I want to say, it is sort of like your heart is currently being stuck and not being allowed to like break through your throat chakra. But once you open that portal of the throat chakra, it will be much easier for your heart energies and your heart center to flow freely. Does that make sense? It's a very specific image that I'm getting. I don't know if I'm conveying it correctly, but your heart is really asking to come out. It's really asking to be freed. And the easiest way to do that, honestly, is literally through communication. You have to communicate your feelings. If there's one message that you're taking out from this pile, is you have to communicate your feelings. Allow yourself to be vulnerable. And I want to say, this is not necessarily, of course, like it's always important for everyone to have boundaries, but this pile specifically is very specifically about just voicing out your emotions, saying, this is how I feel. I feel anxious right now. I feel fearful. I feel absolutely nothing. I feel confusion. This is what I feel about yourself and about your own feelings. I'm not getting it strongly about, like, you know, conflict with other people and telling them how they make you feel and things like that. Sure, that of course also, but really making it about your own feelings. So not like, oh, you're doing this and you're being an asshole because you're doing that, but like, I am feeling this. This is my feeling, and I know this is my feeling. And yes, people can influence that. People can like do things to trigger that, but this is my feeling, and I know this is my feeling, and it's valid and it's real. And I know that it doesn't have to reflect reality, but in the reality of my heart, in the reality of my feelings, it's real and it's valid. And once you start doing that, it should be like an exercise of like every time that you feel something, like even write it down or like tell somebody, like, hey, today I'm feeling like this. Like, even send a message to someone and be like, hey, I just wanted to share with you that today I'm really feeling these emotions, and that's it. This is really, like, your heart is really sort of, like, begging you almost to let it loose, to express yourself, to let it express itself. And it's also very much asking you to focus on the present moment, because in the past, yeah, I think like you might be seeing things from like your trauma lens, which of course is completely normal. The important thing is to be aware of the fact that that lens exists, and to not let it block you, not let it override your life, and not let it rule your life, I want to say. Now we're going to take some channeled messages from your heart to you, or your higher self, if you will. I definitely do feel like your higher self was coming through in this pile. And as I said that, the King of Cups moved. I mean, that's because I freaking shuffled cards, of course, but take that as a sign if you want to take that as a sign. If you don't want to take that as a sign, then don't take that as a sign. Everything is a sign if you want it to be. Okay, we're gonna put you back where you were. So Okay, so we have one. Avoidance. I mentioned avoidance earlier. Like, if you are dealing with a lot of avoidant partners, I want to say, like, if you have been dealing with avoidant partners, then look at how you yourself in covert ways are avoiding in the opposite way of their avoid. Like, if you have been dealing with avoidance and avoidance is bothering you, then that most likely means that it's being reflected back at you that you do the same thing, just in slightly different mechanisms. What else does pile 1 need to know about their heart at this time? What messages does pile 1's heart have for pile 1? Okay, these wanted to come out. Thank you. Gratefulness. Like, perhaps even, like, tell people that you love them and that you... If you struggle with words of affirmation, like, train that as well. Like, you really have to start using your voice. Be real. There you go. That's also what we were saying. Like, there's this need for you to be more authentic with yourself. And, like, this is not to say that you're a fake person or whatever, but you're also not being super real all of the time. Because if you're hiding parts of yourself with this hiding card right here, then yeah, there's some parts of you that people don't see, and then they don't have the real picture of you. Out of touch. Yeah, and this whole mechanism of hiding these parts of you, they're really putting you, like, they're making you disconnect with people. It's really disconnecting you from others around you, and that's the opposite of what you want. Because again, that avoidance, if you have been dealing with avoidant people that you feel like are blocking the connection, again, that's something that you're doing with yourself as well and with other people as well, just in slightly different ways. Doing versus being, this really calls me back to what I said earlier. Like, you're not afraid of talking about emotions, but you might be afraid of showing emotion. What else does pile 1's heart want to say to pile 1? Projection, that same thing that we were talking about earlier about avoidance. Like, you only recognize that avoidance and you're bothered by that avoidance, and it's affecting you so much because it needs to awaken within you the fact that you have the same coping mechanism. Thoughts. This is just telling me, like, first of all, be mindful of your thoughts and yourself, your dialogue with yourself, but also don't keep your thoughts trapped either. Same thing as with your feelings. Like, you need to voice those things. Down to earth. Earthing might be someone that you need to do a lot. With that magician energy, you definitely might have some Mercury energy. Yeah, definitely strong Virgo energy here. But going back to, like, keeping yourself grounded and earthed might be something that you need to do a lot to stay sane, I want to say. Okay, last one we have trust. Oh, there's another one back. That enough. You are enough. But also at the same time, I'm getting, like, enough is enough. Like, done with this cycle, with this pattern, with this bullshit. Enough is enough. Now it's time to shine. Now it's time for this. And how do we do that? We do that through this. Through coffee with friends. Okay, next I want to take one spirit animal for you. Let's see what we have. What spirit animal? I might take a couple since, of course, like, I want to take 3. What spirit animal does pile 1 need to be aware of at this time? You guys need to be looked out for. We have the black bear with guardian, gentle and wise protector. Give me your confidence and power. Help me protect the ones I love. Awaken my intuition and guide me. Raven, shaman, you are the creator and the magician. Again, Gemini energy. Energy. Use your gifts for good. There you go. That gift thing that I was talking about earlier. There's power in your wisdom and words. Connect with the elemental spirits and glide through the void. Claim your place as keeper of mysteries. I mean, yeah, literally what I was saying earlier. One more spirit animal that needs to come through for pile 1, please. One more spirit animal that needs to come through. We're gonna take all those. I mean, I'm gonna put these back because there's way too many. We have the snow leopard with self-reliance. You're strongly independent and often solitary. Integrity, again, hermit. Integrity is important for your best outcome. Cloak yourself with invisibility and walk with the shamans. Walk with the shamans. Use your intuition and let your life unfold in silent perfection. I feel like a lot of you might already resonate with this energy. What other spirit animal? Like this, especially with that with a hiding card. This is not to say that you should sort of like. This is to say it's okay to be in hermit mode sometimes. But don't take that, like there's so much power in that as well, but don't take that to the extremes in which you're isolating yourself, okay? This is not only like a bad thing. There's definitely a lot of power and wisdom in that as well, but don't take that to extremes. I feel like to pull another, let's see who wanted to come out. Loon, intuitive, lots about intuition. Listen to the song in your soul. Trust your intuition as you have a way of knowing. Emerge from the busy life and seek more solitude. Okay. Recognize that you are unique and that you are loved. Exactly. Wow. Okay, now I want to take one of these sacred geometry activation oracle cards, and lastly also a few rebel cards, so that we have enough advice for you guys. We have the sacral chakra with number 2. The frequency of the sacral chakra, the orange flower of life, supports our ability to flow with our desires and stimulates our creative power to manifest success and abundance in our lives. There you go. Again, that emotional need for emotional flux. I said I was going to take one, but then I guess this one wanted to come out as well. 12, change. The frequency of change supports our ability to gracefully dance with the forever changing nature of reality, both inward and outward, so that we can appreciate the sweet release of the old and birth the new. Again, this is very much like release the old and birth the new, like that creativity energy that comes through with the sacral chakra as well. Now about, let's see what the rebel deck has to say to you. So what do we have for advice for pile 1? Advice for pile 1, please. We have jealous sign, make it rain. Okay. Yeah. Don't talk to anyone, don't look at anyone. You need some fucking time alone and you know why. Okay, well I guess that's a little contradictory from what I've been saying, but maybe this is asking you, because there's a lot about like time with yourself and time inwards also with that hermit card. Maybe change the way that you've been doing that. Okay, just pay attention to your thoughts and pay attention to the energy that you're in and sort of like change the way that you've been doing that. We have stop fucking whining. No one wants to listen to that shit. Complaining makes you weak. You have the strength to change your world, so do it. Yeah, this is also about, I want to say stop like the negative inner self-talk. These really go together. Like, yes, go within and figure out what the heck is happening. Like, do shadow work, do inner child work, whatever it is that you're feeling called to. But change that inner dialogue. Change that inner dialogue, because it's not helping you and you're keeping yourself stuck in that way. What else do we have for pile 1? I'm going to take one more. What else do we have for pile 1? We have, you are going through some tough shit. I guess also growing. Everyone has their everyone has their turn. Welcome to yours. Gather your tired ass up and handle it. Yeah, this is to say, like, it's okay to go through things, and you cannot expect yourself to not have any difficulties ever. And other people should not expect that of you either. it's okay to admit, like, you might be someone who feels like they're failing if they're not doing super great all the time, but that's not the truth. Like, that's a reflection of your own insecurity and of your own, I guess, trauma lens, but it doesn't have, like, that's not true. People also don't expect you to be okay all the freaking time, yet you might be expecting yourself to be okay all the freaking time. And people will understand and they will be happy to support you if you're not doing so great. Okay, pile one, this is your reading. Thank you so much for reading. Thank you so much for watching, and definitely do feel free to leave a comment down below letting me know how this resonated, as it means the world to me to know how it lands on the other side of the screen. Also, definitely feel free to leave a like and subscribe, as that really helps me with the algorithm, and I really hope this brought you some type of value and insight. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. Hi, pile two. So if you chose this beautiful Deli Jasper crystal point right here, as well as the True Heart Intuitive Tarot, this is going to be a reading, and I am so excited to get into it. We are going to look into these pre-shuffled oracles that I have here for you, essentially to look a little bit into what your heart's energy is currently. So this would be, this is going to be indicative to you if this is the right pile for you or not. This is a timeless reading, so it should be good for whenever it finds you, although if it doesn't, like, if the first part of the reading does not resonate with you, then you should absolutely feel more than welcome to choose another pile. These are going to, I don't know if I already said that. Oh yeah, of course, I just said that. So these are going to tell us a little bit about the energy of your heart at this time. And then afterwards with the tarot, we're going to look a little bit more in depth about whatever more specific in-depth messages your heart has for you. And at the end of each pile, we're going to look into cat hair. Welcome, as per usual. We're going to look into channel messages from my own handwritten channel messages deck, as well as some advice for you at this time. So yeah, without further ado, let's see what we have here for you. We have the Cosmic Heart with Devotion, Potency, Make Your Life a Moving Prayer. Next for you, we have I Consume Only My Fair Share. Then we have number 12 with Calm Within Transformation. I actually want to put that like that. And we also have number 66 with Alchemy. Next we have Accepting Challenges, Trust Your Inner Resources. Then we also have the First Quarter Moon. And last but not least, we have number 12 with Amuata, Sage of Higher Knowledge. Oh, pile 2, oh my god. Sorry, I don't know what that was. Oh my god, okay, so... Wow. Okay, this is the only thing that I can say to start. Just wow. How to say this? If this is your pile, like, I'm getting strong, very strong Scorpio energy. This doesn't have to mean that you have Scorpio placements, although it would not surprise me if you guys did. But it doesn't have to be, okay? This is just energy. This doesn't have to be astrological placements. If this is your pile, you are very much likely, for as cliche as that sounds, but, you know, I guess we are in the tarot spiritual community here, so that kind of shit happens on the regular. You are starting to shed skin, awaken, see through layers. You're really starting to sort of, like, there's a lot about rebirth and about getting in touch with your own inner. It's interesting that you chose the True Heart Intuitive Tarot, because this is a lot about getting in touch with your inner intuition. Trust your inner resources. Sage of Higher Knowledge. This Alchemy card is also about the ability, like, being aware and becoming aware and conscious of your ability to literally, like, you might be someone who is just coming in touch with, like, things like witchcraft and magic and alchemy, probably literally. Candle magic might be something that you want to look into, setting intention, manifestation, that kind of things. Like, you're really awakening to your inner power, I want to say. And this is strictly, like, coming from your heart. Oh my god, this is such freaking powerful, beautiful energy. Like, with the Cosmic Heart, devotion, potency, make your life a moving prayer. This is literally about, like, collect your energy within yourself and find that inner strength, that inner power that you likely, if you resonate with this, like if you still feel intrigued by this energy but you don't see yourself as being in this energy yet, if you're still interested in this and if you still feel intrigued, if there's something within you, if your intuition is telling you you have to keep listening to this pile, definitely do so, okay? Because this might just be something that is about to awaken within you. Like this first quarter moon is all about gaining momentum. First quarter moon is of course like just it's like 90 degrees from the new moon. So you still have like 3/4 of the journey to go before you actually can expand into like your fullest potential. Fullest potential of like round 1, I want to say, or like round 2, whatever round you're at right now. Because of course, like again, like awakening to these kind of things and like shedding layers and rebirthing isn't that they're never isolated cases. It just happens all over again, and it happens again and again and again. So like this is just one cycle within many cycles. There's something that is also your heart wants you to know about the way that you're dealing with people, with specifically a few cards with like this devotion right here, as well as I consume only my fair share. This is quite similar energy to pile 1, so definitely if you did feel called to pile 1, I haven't filmed the other ones of course yet, so don't know what's going to come out there, but if you felt called to pile 1 or to any other pile later on, definitely feel free to check those out as well. But there is this vague feeling of on the outside, like this is what I just said is a lot about like your inner world and like about like the astral realm and like the otherworldly, I want to say, like the 5D and things like that. But in your 3D reality, in like your earthly surroundings, you might be someone who is very much always there for others, but you're not really focusing, or like you haven't been. Like this might be a pattern that you might, maybe this is the very pattern that you're shedding, that you're overcoming. I love that I'm digressing, but this card we also have like moon phases, which freaking bomb. What was I saying? Like you might be someone who is very much always there for others. You might be someone who is very much in, like, who wants to act in service of others. I'm getting Cancer energy specifically right now. It doesn't have to be at all. You might be into astral projecting and things like that. You might be navigating like the dream world. Like I'm getting so many different things, and this is really telling me like you're really up in your higher chakras at this time. Like there's so much coming through, like your crown chakra and your third eye chakra. Definitely also your heart. We also have a faint tinge of solar plexus with this yellow here, and this card also is about getting in touch with your intuition. What your intuition is a lot about the heart chakra, of course, the third eye as well, but that's a very different kind of intuition. That's literally like experiencing things like with clairvoyance and like psychic abilities. Real intuition, like earthly intuition, comes from the heart as well as the body, and like the body chakra would be the solar plexus chakra. Don't ask me to get into in depth about how that works exactly, because I honestly don't know. That's just like a download that I received. I will make sense of it at some point, but the body is really the solar plexus chakra is the chakra of the body. Everything that has to do with the body is connected to the solar plexus chakra. If I will have expanded upon this specific download, I guess you can call it, I will definitely let you guys know, and it will probably will come out if it has to come out in further readings, but yeah, so we're all over the place. With this, I consume only my fair share. You might be someone who tends to cancel themselves out in order to serve other people. You might be a life path 9 or 6. 69. Sorry. Well, we do have 66, so like 6 might be oh, we also have 12 twice, so that will make 3. Oh wow, you guys, oh my god, like you might have things like this. There's like synchronicities and little like weird shit is happening, like little magical things happening around you, and you're just like enjoying it, like wow, yeah, oh my god, like things like probably you haven't been noticing before, things that are just like happening, new things that are happening in your like in your reality, things like, again, like synchronicities and messages and downloads and anything like that. And you're really just enjoying this. Like, there might be some tinge of what the hell is happening, but at the other side, it's just like you feel so protected. That is also something that is coming through so strongly for you. Like, you're so protected. In the previous pile, I really had the messages were basically being channeled by from the heart directly, as well as the higher self. Now I'm really getting some type of spirit guide. Some type of spirit guide is coming through to you through this pile, and you guys might be like buddies, essentially. Like, there's this one specific spirit guide that might just feel like a little, like a buddy, like a friend, like a bestie type of energy. And they might send you like just like synchronicities and messages and spirit animals, things like that, just like your way, and it's so easy for you to recognize them, and you're like, there's no shadow of a doubt that things are like a sign, because it like they're too clear and too specific and too it makes too much sense to not be a sign, if that makes sense. I don't remember where I was going. That's why I feel like you're very much in the flow of things. With that, I consume only my fair share in this devotion right here present. You definitely might be someone who wants to dabble in the healing arts if you're not already doing that. You might do Reiki, you might do actually like work on chakras, like you might use your hands with this alchemy, you might use your hands to, I want to say, like, shift energy, manipulate energy. And if this is not something that you do already, like the world around you, even the fact that you're resonating with this reading, like these things might be coming at you to let you know, like, yes, it's real, okay? Like, you're attracting this information and these little tidbits of synchronicities and then little specks of clarity, because this is the direction that you're going into. Like, if you have been interested in Reiki and things like that, and in chakras, even whatever it is, definitely follow that path, because it's calling you very clearly. And even if things sometimes scare you with this accepting challenges and calm within transformation, like some things might be a little unsettling because it's all very new. It's all very new to you, and you might not know where to start. You might not know, like, you might be the only one within your circle who is dabbling in this type of things. But this is definitely, you're supported. You're supporting, you're protected. Like, I'm really being shown this sort of like shield around your body, essentially. Like, it's interesting that we have also this figure with all these sort of like I'm seeing this as this person's aura. And there's definitely a lot of protection around you. And you might, again, like, feel a little lost, a little anxious. We have this like calm within transformation. This calm within transformation is all about, like, you know, change can be scary. Change can be a little unsettling, of course, because that's the very essence of change. It's just like moving outside of your comfort zone. It's moving outside of things as you knew them, moving outside of the structure. Of the structure that you have been knowing, but also at the same time, you know that the skin that you're wearing now, like the identity that you're wearing now, and the things that how you've been doing them, it's getting a little too tight, and you can't wait to sort of like wiggle loose from that old skin and that old identity, and step up into the next version of yourself. With this, I consume only my fair share. This is a very intense card to me at this time, at this moment. Like, it's coming very strongly. I'm getting also with as above, so below. So Mercury energy, with this, like, yeah, there's something with the hands. There's something with your hands. I swear to freaking God, there's something with your hands. I don't know what it is, and this is probably because you don't know either. I mean, if you know, then that's great for you. There is something with your hands. Something with your hands. And your third eye and your higher chakra, for damn sure. There is a veil of mystery, so that's also why I'm feeling like you might just be getting in touch with these things, because there's this veil of, you're gonna see, like, you're gonna see. There's so much in store for you. Again, with this first quarter, like, it's just building up momentum, and it's leading in a very specific direction that you know exactly what that direction is, but you aren't there yet. That's when I want to what I want to say. I want to move on into the tarot now because I feel like this is all that is coming through for now. So, oh my god, this is so exciting. Let's see what else does your heart want you to know? Like this guide really strongly needed to come through to you. And again, like there is definitely something about your heart because your intuition comes from your heart. Could be that you have done so much heart healing. Like this literally could be you having healed so much of your own trauma that you're finally breaking loose and like finally getting in touch with those deeper inner layers within yourself. That you're not trapped anymore. Again, like if you felt called to pile one, you might wanna check that out. Only if you feel called to it, of course. But do what you please. But yeah, let's see what else. Number 6 definitely might be very relevant to you. Doesn't have to resonate for everyone, of course, but if it's yours, you will know. I'm feeling called to cut the deck for some reason. I'm gonna do that. I don't know why. Sometimes I get weird accents. I don't fucking know why. Okay, so what else does this guide, I guess? Pile 2's guides. What messages do you have to deliver to Pile 2? They're very excited. They're so excited. This guide is so excited for you. The surge of energy and excitement that I'm getting with this pile and the energy that these 2 cards just popped out is absolutely freaking insane. So we have the 5 of Pentacles and the Ace of Swords in reverse. It's interesting because the Ace of Swords in reverse also came out in the previous pile. What else does Pile 2 need to know? What else does Pile 2 need to know? We have... Look at what we have here. We have a freaking magician. Oh my god, you guys. Oh my god. I'm gonna scream. What else do we have for Pile 2? We have the 8 of Pentacles. Again, your hands. Like, there is something about your hands, darling. Like, if you haven't been exploring that world, whatever is calling you, like, I'm also getting sex magic now. With those snakes and, like, scorpionic 8th house vibes. Oh my god, this is insane. This is so cool. Like, again, we have an 8, which is also, like, Scorpio number. We have the 10 of Swords in reverse. What about this 5 of Pentacles? We have the Lovers. So we have, previous pile also had very strong Mercury energy. We have the Magician, which is again like, did we have the Magician? Yeah, we had the Magician in the previous pile as well. That's Mercury energy, and the Lovers is Gemini energy. In the previous pile specifically, we had, I was about to say I'm not going to give any spoilers, but I mean, what else? If this one is Gemini, then the other one was Virgo. Anyways, I'm not going to give any more spoilers. We have the 7 of Cups to clarify. Oh my god. You guys. Oh my god. Okay, so this Ace of Swords in reverse is not here because it's a bad thing. This Ace of Swords is on top of this 7 of Cups, which I also saw it just earlier when I was shuffling, but of course, like, it had to come out in this specific position, because you are this Magician, which is coming out in the very middle of this spread. This is like a story. This is like a freaking story. Like, where do I even start? Oh my god, there's so much coming through. Like, this is probably your energy every single day. There's so much things happening inside and around you, just like so many things coming through to you. But you are this Magician. You have all the freaking power to perform any type of magic, alchemy, transformation, energy work, whatever it is that you feel called to, that you feel applies to you. You have this power within yourself. With this Ace of Swords, like, you're holding this sword, and whenever it is that you have, like, that you have different options, or that you don't know which, you might also be a life path 8. I said 6 or 9, but you also might be a life path 8. If you have multiple options, definitely you might also definitely have strong Gemini energy. If you have different options, or like if you have different paths that you can choose, if you have like different interests, you get to choose whichever it is that you want to pursue. Like if you this I'm seeing this as sort of like you planting this sword in whichever thing that you decide to go for at the moment. You're sort of like pinning this thing down and sort of like making it tangible, making it like deciding what you want to work on, pouring all of your energy into that, and sort of like that will be one next step within your transformation. Like whatever it is that you cannot make the wrong choices. Very much strong life path 8. You cannot make wrong choices. If you don't know what to choose, if you don't know where to go, just go somewhere that is calling your intuition. You will know there's something that is calling you a little bit stronger than other things at a specific time. Pursue that. Go after that. Whatever idea or intuition that you're getting, you have to follow that. Pin that specific one thing down. Pour all of your energy into that until you feel like you've had enough of that, until you feel like you have mastered it, until you feel like you have learned something or gained something from it. And if at some point your intuition is like the synchronicities are steering you in another direction, then follow that. You don't have to do things in a specific way, I want to say. Just go with whatever floats your boat, because you get to try all of those things out, and all of those things will teach you something, whatever it is. There's definitely very much the need of working on things on a practical level. Again, your hands have to be doing something, whatever it is. This is going to be different, like practically what that looks like, it's going to differ for everyone watching this, but there's this need to pinning things down in the material world. And it's also like with this alchemy, you have this ability to manifest things into existence, like ideas, little things. Like you have the ability to pin things down in the 3D. Oh my god, this is so freaking powerful. What about this magician energy right here? This is insane. So we have the 9 of Wands in reverse. We're gonna put these back. There's something about the underworld. Like you might actually, oh my god, you might actually be someone who actually gets in touch with spirits, with entities from the underworld, with yeah, something about the underworld. Like this is like, I'm really envisioning this is the line where you're standing, and then you're sort of like being mirrored this image of entities and beings that exist on another level. Even with this alchemy card, it's like these are two different realities, and you're able to bridge that. That's also this Gemini energy and Mercury energy. Mercury, specifically Gemini, there's a lot about mirroring. The lovers, yes, it is about lovers and romance and all that, but it's a lot about mirroring energy. It's a lot about duality. It's a lot about yin yang. And Mercury specifically, so like all Mercury placements in general, but Mercury specifically is about bridging worlds. Like it was the messenger of the gods. This alchemy, this is a lot about Scorpio. So like placements that are coming through, very strong mirror Gemini and Scorpio. Oh my god, this is so intensely fascinating. This is so cool. What about this 8 of Pentacles? We have to... Okay, so we have this Prince of Swords, which also strongly reminds me of that Hermes. Like literally, Mercury is Hermes. This really reminds me of that Hermes energy. What about this 10 of Swords? I feel the urge to like pull a billion cups. Cups? Why did I say cups? Okay, we're gonna put these back. I mean, a billion cards, because there's so much coming through. You might have a Mercury moon, perhaps. Doesn't have to be, of course, but what about this 10 of Swords? Prince of Pentacles, well, like the Knight of Pentacles in reverse. I'm going to pull more cards because there's this strong urge to pull more cards. I'm just going to pull 2 more. Oh my god, this is intense. Man, that was a bad shuffle. There's also something about the sun. Something about the sun. There's a lot of little pieces of information, little pieces of clarity, little tidbits of insight coming through me right now about you, about this pile. But this is, I feel like, the energy that you're in, and you're discovering just like new aspects and new layers of reality. I want to say, again, you might be exploring things like dreaming, lucid dreaming, and excusez-moi. Okay, what else? What else for pile 2? What else for pile 2? We have, oh my god, how am I we have the High Priestess, which, for those of you who are not familiar with tarot at all, which, I mean, I figure that most of you will, but for those of you who aren't, who might just be starting to get into tarot themselves, the High Priestess is all about observing, about, again, there's this sense of duality. There's also all of the 4 elements in this specific card. So again, everything about manifestation and the elements, like elemental witchcraft might be something that you might be want to dabble in. But the High Priestess is all about this inner universal knowledge, about intuition, this moon energy. What about this High Priestess right here? What about Priestess? What about the Priestess for pile 2? Okay, so we got 2 more cards. Now, the bottom of the deck is the Page of Cups in reverse. This is telling me don't get caught up in fickle, silly energies and influences from other people who don't know what they're talking about. Like, you're this High Priestess. If you're encountering Pages of Cups that try to distract you or something, or that try to put judgment onto you, in whichever way that might manifest into your life, like, you are able to recognize those energies, and you don't have to get into those, and you shouldn't get into those type of energy and let them influence you, because you have a very different experience of life, and you're in the world in a very different way, I want to say, than other people. We have the 10 of Pentacles, which I feel like wanted to go there, and then we have the 9 of Pentacles. We also have the 9 of Pentacles of Pentacles in the previous pile. Do we have to fix the lighting? I think I have to fix the lighting. Okay, so that is slightly darker, but I felt like the light and shadow was a little bit, it's not ideal for a camera. But yes, there's definitely a lot about duality, about light and shadow. You might be someone who dabbles in shadow work and things like that. Wow, where were we? You might be someone who actually can and wants to, I'm not sure if I mentioned this earlier, but who wants to get into the healing arts, like who wants to actually be a professional, either tarot reader, professional Reiki master, professional whatever it is, like something along those lines of like healing arts. And this is definitely telling you, like, yes. This is telling you yes. That's all you need to hear. I was about to say, like, yes, this has definitely a lot of potential. Oh my god, we also have the Magician and the High Priestess. You see, I'm all over the freaking place. We have the Magician and the High Priestess, which are divine counterparts. Like, the Emperor and the Empress are like the divine counterparts, and the yin and yang on earth. But the Magician and the Priestess, number 1 and number 2, are the divine counterparts, and like the yin and the yang of the otherworldly, of like the spiritual, like higher realms. And we have the Lovers. There is this duality within you. There is this ability to see here and to see what is not here. There's this again, like the worldly and the otherworldly, like the underworld. But what I was about to say with the High Priestess, clarified by the 9 of Pentacles and the 10 of Pentacles, there is so much. We also have the 8 of Pentacles, which is interesting. We have 8, 9, 10. We have a 7 here. The Lovers is card number 6, and we have a 5. Y'all. What is happening? We have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. What is happening? Okay, give me a second. Because we also have a Page and the Knights. Never mind. I was looking if we had like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, but no. We only have from number 5 to 10. With this High Priestess energy and this 9 of Discs and the 10 of Pentacles, this is really telling you like there is so much abundance, also financial abundance for you available. If that's something that you're interested in manifesting, if that is something that you have been wanting to manifest, that is definitely something that is in the realm of possibilities for you. Like it might not be grounded yet at this time. It might be something that you have been wanting to manifest for yourself. And if you feel shy about that, if you feel uncertain or like sort of like guilty, I want to say, with this 10 of Swords, that is definitely something that your heart wants you to work on. Like if perhaps there have been outside influences with this Page of Cup energy right here that have been making you feel guilty for even wanting to pursue something like that, like what people would call like a spiritual business, I guess. It doesn't have to be, okay? Like there is this weird conception that if you have some type of spiritual gift or some type of like that there's this weird thing about, of course, like it's a lot of duality. The Western world is commercializing and it is capitalizing on spirituality and all that kind of things, but it's not an evil thing in itself. It depends on how you use it. If of course, like I've said it in another pile as well. I think it was my Capricorn or my Aquarius reading. If you have gifts that you want to share with the world and that you're literally being pulled and called to share with the world, if you do it as a form of profession, if you do it as a job, you get to do that systematically. You get to put your gifts out there into the world, and if you get like a compensation, a monetary financial compensation for that, then you can use that financial compensation to fuel your work and to put more of that work into the world. You don't have to, like, if you want, you can also like invest that money in Lamborghinis and Ferraris and whatever. Like you get to do that if that's what makes you happy, and if that's what you want. But it's not money for the sake of money. Okay, it's a type of energy that you're getting back and that you're using to transform into something else. So that's not going to resonate for everyone. If that's something that you're like, this did not apply to me, then don't take that. But there's this urge to put your gifts out into the world, and of course that first of all requires you to explore them within yourselves. If you haven't been exploring them yet. What else? With this 10 of Swords in reverse, like this is Medusa. This might be some type of deity that you either are connected to, that you feel like you want to work with, or that has been calling your attention recently. There's definitely this idea, like you have been, I want to say your entire life, you have been transforming pain into power. You have been using people's harsh words and people's negative, mean energy towards you. You have been using that as fuel. Like, of course, like you might say, like, I didn't have a choice because it was either going to kill me or make me stronger, and I chose, or like I almost didn't have a choice. It was either ending up like this or ending up like this. And you're here. This is where you're at right now. That's why this one is reversed. Because you've reversed, that was the very first message that came through when this card came out in reverse. You have reversed that very energy. You have used that, and like sometimes it might still hurt, but you're not afraid of hurt. You're not afraid of pain, because you know how much freaking power has come out of that, and your part of you is definitely so freaking grateful for that. And you know that in pain there's value in pain. Like you're able to see the silver lining of everything. You might be someone who is into gardening, like you might be interested in working with herbs, or like you might be doing that already, like herbs and essential oils and natural medicine and things like that. You might be doing things like ceremonial tattooing, because we do have this beautiful card right here with this tattoos things right here. There's definitely something with your hands. Like you do some type of magical work with your hands, and if it's not like energy work with your hands, it's still something that you create with your hands. Okay, let's first take some channel messages. I want to take a few channel messages for you. And then we're going to look into some spirit animals that might be relevant for you, as well as advice. Wow, this pile, you guys, oh my god. Oh my freaking god. Okay, so what messages do we have here for pile 2? I just saw crown chakra while shuffling. Yeah. What do we have for pile 2? What do we have for pile 2? And I guess the main message that needed to come out here is just like trust. This one was, I'm not going to take this, I'm just going to show you. It says storm, but this is a lot. Sorry if you hear noise in the background. This is definitely a lot about getting into alternative. This one was also turned around this deck. I'm not going to take it, but alternative medicine, alternative healing. That's what came to mind. What was I saying? Yeah, you guys chose, this is of course like messages from your heart. This is all to tell you, trust your heart's intuition. You guys chose the freaking intuitive heart, like the true heart intuitive tarot. You know what? I should take all these cards. Gift. You definitely do have gifts, okay? You do have them, whatever they are. This is all about trusting your intuition and trusting those gifts. Other things. This is, again, telling me, like, otherworldly. I don't remember writing down some of these messages, but it's interesting to see them when they pop out. Again, the other world, like, you can see other things that people don't see. Like, perceive things that people... Narrow vision. You might be dealing with people who have very narrow vision. Again, there's this influence of, like, the Page of Cups, people who might think that you have a weird vision of things. Like, you might definitely be like the black sheep of society, I want to say, of your community, of your family, things like that. This is definitely telling you, like, what I'm getting from you is you have a pretty broad vision. Like, all the information coming in, this is not narrow vision energy, so this does not pertain to you necessarily. And if people want to make it pass as if that was you, you know that's projection. What other messages do we have for pile 2? What other messages do we have for pile 2? I'm going to take 2 more. We have projection. What did I just freaking say? You might also be wanting to do things like works with mirror and scrying. That's something that's coming very, very strongly through for you. Yeah. If you're into that, then go for that. Incompatible. I guess there's a need to figure out what your gifts are and what you... Oh, wow. Yeah. Metaphysical anatomy. Definitely. This is, again, that whole holistic alternative healing concept that is coming through for you. But incompatible, this is really about finding out what works and what doesn't. Like, if you find out that, like, elemental magic is not your thing, or like scrying is not your thing, or chakras or whatever it is, that's not your thing, then that's completely fine. It's a journey. These wanted to come say hi as well. We have I'm listening. So, like, this guide, the universe, is coming through very strongly. If you have desires, if you need support with your craft, if you need support with anything, just tell them, ask them. Sit in prayer. You don't have to, like, actually pray or things like that, but sit and ask them for help with whatever it is that you need, and they will deliver. The unseen, again, this otherworldly, underworld thing that is coming through for you. Throat chakra. That might be something that you need to work on. Human. Don't forget that you're human too. Take care of your human body. Don't forget that. I hope I'm not too much over the place. I feel like I've left some of my sentences mid-air. That's just because so many things are coming through. So many things. Okay, so what spirit animals are relevant for pile 2? What spirit animals have messages for pile 2? What should they keep an eye open on about? Which spirit animals are relevant for pile 2? Which spirit animals should they keep an eye out for? So we have the elephant with greatness. Love is your strength. Leadership is your path. Again, number 8. Your wisdom inspires everyone you meet. You can overcome any problem. You will naturally and easily achieve success. Definitely life path number 8 is very relevant for some of you. If you don't know your life path number, then there is, I don't have any specific sites, but if you like Google things like calculate your life path number, then you will find that. Otherwise, just add up the numbers of your birthday essentially. But if that's confusing, just Google like what is my life path number and calculator, and then you will find that. Dolphin with play, swim in the happy joy of living, inhale confidence and exhale fear, dive into your wisdom, go with the flow. What other spirit animals should pile 2s look out for? What other animals are relevant for pile 2s? You guys, this is such powerful, beautiful energy. What else do we have for pile 2? Spirit animals for pile 2. Okay, so we have 2 more. We have the sea otter with happiness. Be the master of playful living. Exactly, play with things like the elements, and then play with, I want to say like make your job something that you love. My throat is a little dry. Release expectations and enjoy every day. Let worry go and instead choose love. Surrender to the waves. Your good destiny of love is sure. We love to hear that. And then we have fox, clever. You are swift and smart. Solutions to problems are easily found. That's something that we just found here as well. You can overcome any problem. Solutions to problems are easily found. Always listen to your instincts. Resources surround you. Be open to romance. Be open to romance. That might be a very specific one for you guys. On the bottom of the deck, we have the elk with nobility. Celebrate your accomplishments with humility. Also with humanity, I guess. With humility, you are crowned with success. Powerful forces guide you. Your ability to conquer challenges is limitless. Like how many different ways should these cards tell you? I again feel the need to pull more cards because this is just the energy of your pile. One more spirit animal that, okay, so we're getting 2. We're getting 2. We have the ram with perseverance. Aries might be significant. With the fox, I got Gemini energy again. Ram perseverance. You have many gifts. No problem can withstand the power of your mind. With patience, you can reach your mountaintop. Never give up, and good luck will follow. Again, same message coming through. And we have tiger with fire. So we have all elements. We have, again, well, we're missing air actually. So I retweet what I just said, but we have earth, we have water, we have fire, and we have fire again with the tiger. I choose to be unstoppable. My passion is my power. I am bold. I am brave. Mighty forces come to my aid. That was almost a rhyme. We love to see that. I'm almost called to pull another card to see if we get an air animal. Should I do it? Oh. I'm just gonna pull one more. Let's see just what wants to come out. That was the sea turtle, which was the bottom of the deck of earlier. Well, we have the dragon with supernatural. You're the ancient wise sage. You can shapeshift as will. Again, energy of transformation, everything. Mastery is your destiny. Rise with dignity. Okay, and we have the hawk. I took like a billion animals, but the hawk with messenger. Again, that Mercury energy, air. See, we did have there. Okay, that one was a little bit far-fetched. But Spirit is sending you messages. Open your greater visions to see the signs. Focus on priorities and eliminate distractions. What I was saying earlier. You have a bright future. Let yourself ascend to new heights. And honestly, with that, we're not going to close yet because I still have one deck. I'm going to take one card from this deck. The Sacred Geometry Activation Oracle deck. Let's see what else. I hope that you guys, if you guys found yourself in this pile, that you got the support or like the confirming messages and synchronicities that you were looking for, because holy crap. Like, holy crap. We have Remembrance, number 38. The frequency of remembrance supports our memory of everything that we have gone through as a soul and body, providing us with valuable information and tools to flow gracefully with and in this life. Are you guys gonna hate me if I pull one more? I want to pull one more. Cosmic Flower, number 18. The frequency of Cosmic Flower activates our remembrance. What the fuck, you guys? Come on, I cannot make this up. I cannot make this up, okay? So, remembrance. The frequency of Cosmic Flower activates our remembrance of the place we call home, the core. You guys definitely might be starseeds. Like, that's just, oh my god. I was getting Mintakan energy with this dolphin and the turtle that flipped out earlier. I didn't say because I want to use those terms sparingly because it was not about that, but definitely Mintakan. Or any type of like other like water type of starseed energy. Anyway, remembrance of the place we call home, the core from which we pour our magnificence out into the world. On the bottom of the deck is healing. We're just gonna leave it at that because oh my god, you guys, I'm so happy for you guys. I want to say I freaking love you. Oh my god. Okay, thank you so much for watching, guys. I'm gonna have a drink of water after this reading. I really hope that you guys got the clarity and insight and value that you were looking for, that you did not know that you were looking for in this pile. These were definitely a little slightly more intense and specific messages from a general like heart chakra reading. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Please definitely do, like, if you resonated with this pile, please let me know in the comments down below, because oh my god, it will fill my heart so much. Like, even just leave an emoji or something. If you don't know what to say, then just say like pile 2 here, bye. It would mean the world to me. Definitely also feel free to leave a like and subscribe. That really helps me with the algorithm. And thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you so much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. Hi Pile 3, so if you choose this beautiful blue Caribbean calcite point right here, as well as the Prism Tarot, this is going to be your reading, and be aware that I have a little drink right now here beside me because my throat got so dry in the previous pile, so yeah, usually don't do this, but yeah, I'm going to take a sip in between every now and then. Anyways, we are going to look into whatever it is that your heart has to say to you at this time, okay? So in the previous piles, we had different energies coming through, so keep in mind that this could be like your higher self or a guide or any type of other entity wanting to come through to you. The previous piles have definitely been very, very interesting, so I'm really excited to see what is going to come through here to you. We're going to first look into these pre-shuffled oracles that I have here, which are basically going to tell you a little bit about your current, the current energy and state of your heart at this time. So it should be indicative for you, the first part of this reading, to know if this is the right time for you to find this reading, as this is a timeless reading. But of course, if it doesn't resonate, then you should absolutely feel free to pick another pile. And I'm a little lost on this pile. I don't know why, but we're just gonna keep going. Later on, after the oracles, we're going to look into the tarot to look a little bit more in depth about whatever it is that your heart wants you to know, or what you have to know about your heart. And afterwards, at the end of each pile, we're going to take some channeled messages from my own handwritten channeled messages deck, as well as some advice for you at this time, okay? So without further ado, let's see what we have here for you. The first card that we have for you is The Weight of the World with Boundaries. Let it go. It's not yours to carry. Next, we have the First House. Then we have Sagittarius. Then we have I Offer Words of Good Intent. Then we have number 29 with Stay Back. How are we gonna do this? Then we have 24 with Pueo. I'm not sure how you read that. With Guardian of the Aumakua. It's a Hawaiian card concept, entity, energy. Last but not least, we have Drunk with Love. Let love lift you to freedom. Okay, pile 3. This is, I feel like we have one of these piles in every single reading. This is my solar plexus slash people pleaser slash sometimes way too kind pile. This Drunk with Love card, in this pile, like usually this is a card that tells me that you have to sort of like let go a little bit of pressure and tension and sort of like let yourself and like give yourself over to love. In this context, with all the other cards that I'm seeing here for you, this card is saying that you might be a little bit too drunk in love. I'm getting Pisces vibes. We are in Pisces season as we are filming this right now. Doesn't have to be relevant in terms of an actual placement. We also have the first house with Aries and Sagittarius. These are just energies. It doesn't have to necessarily be astrological placements, but I'm getting this idea that you are definitely someone who values love a lot, and you act a lot about love. Like you might talk a lot about the value of love and about your heart and emotions. You might have water placements. You might also definitely resonate, for some of you, resonate with the energy of Mintaka or any other type of like water related starseed energy. But I feel like love is definitely, and your heart is definitely your strongest asset, I want to say. But sometimes you might be a little bit reckless with it, or a little bit like you might pour love into people and places that are actually not the best for you to pour into. Like you might be someone who does not, you might need, your heart wants you to like discriminate a little more in a positive way where and into whom and in which way and to what extent you pour your love into. Does that make sense? Like with this Stay Back card, 29 reduces to 11 or 2. We also have 24, which reduces to 6. You definitely might be a little bit too allowing sometimes. Like you might let things slide that aren't exactly the best for you because you are such an understanding, loving, giving, concessive type of soul. And honestly, these are not bad traits to have. But of course, if you take it to the extremes of, you end up enabling, first of all, you might end up enabling people in their own like unhealthy, unserving behaviors and patterns. And you might be a little bit too over allowing with your energy. Like if you're tired, you might be one of those people who said like if you're tired, you still think that you have to be there for people no matter what, even if you're tired, even if you had a shitty day, even if you're struggling yourself. Like you still feel like you have to be there for others. Like you still feel like you have to be kind and giving all the freaking time and loving and understanding, even when it does not benefit you, even when it's not beneficial for you. And it's not that you only have to do things when they benefit you. That is not exactly what I meant with benefit. That was perhaps not the right word. I indeed could have better said that is not beneficial to you, because sometimes like you might give and be open and loving despite of, or not despite of, what is the word that I'm looking for? Like at your own cost. Like you have to pay either like energy or well-being. It's something that depletes you. Like this card as well is really asking you to look in all the ways. First of all, this might be a spirit guide coming through to you with these cards, with this guardian of Aumakua. I don't know how you pronounce that, but owls might also be significant for you, as well as the crown chakra, since we do have a lot of pink here. These cards are really asking you to be mindful and aware of all the ways in which you giving and being so loving and understanding, and you embodying all those qualities that you deem to be positive, and that are, truthfully, they are positive. But look at the extent in which you're taking it. Look at what it does to you. Like, does it actually always fulfill you to do those things? Like, do you actually do it from a genuine place, or are you doing it because you think that you have to, because you think that other people need you and that you have to show up constantly over and over again? Because you might be depleting yourself by doing so certain times. Like, not all the time. It's not that you have to stop giving altogether, because love and the heart chakra, like these values that you have of gentleness and kindness and nourishment and dedication to others and caretaking and being there for others, that's an absolutely beautiful, those are absolutely beautiful qualities to have. But you cannot expect yourself to be performing like that, like, all the time. Your heart really wants you to stand up for yourself and to say no whenever you need to say no. With this stay back card, like, this is, you might be someone who sees boundaries as, like, you might be a little uncomfortable with other people's boundaries, but also with your own boundaries, with setting boundaries. Like, you feel like, why would I create a separation between other people? Why would I limit myself, and why would I close myself off? You have a very negative view of what boundaries are. Like, boundaries, first of all, they're not walls. They're just a limit that you put yourself to, and you're like, okay, so this is how far I am willing to go. This is how much energy I can even give. This is what I will accept and what I will not accept. This is what I like and what I don't like. This is what I want and what I don't want. Those are boundaries. It's not that you literally have to put up walls for people. It's just stating how far you're willing to go, how far you're capable of going in certain specific times. This card is really about, like, not seeing boundaries as a negative thing, and not sort of like, whenever people have boundaries with you, you might perceive that as a personal attack, I want to say, while it's really not. Like, you have to understand, like, this is quite the tough love type of pile. And you might be someone who is very soft and gentle. I mean, you quite literally most likely are, if you resonate with this energy that I'm talking about right now. But I feel like whatever spirit guide is coming through to you right now really needs you to sit your ass down and listen without judgment, and not try to defend yourself, because there are some things that you really need to learn about yourself that are sort of not benefiting you. They're not serving you. They're not nurturing you. Like, you keep wanting to nurture and give to others, but you're really forgetting about yourself. You're willing to take on other people's storms even when you're in the midst of a freaking storm yourself, and, like, that is not going to help anyone. If you're in the midst of a storm, you cannot handle someone else's storm, because that's just going to bring your storm into their storm, and their storm is going to come into your storm, and it's just all going to be like one big shit storm. It's essentially, you have to recognize, first of all, you have to recognize what your own boundaries are. Like, you might be someone who growing up never learned, like, you had to sort of, like, always accommodate, like, caregiving figures, or, like, other people, like siblings, whatever it is, the people around you. Like, you were probably a quite shy, not necessarily shy, but quite introverted, or, like, closed off to yourself type of child. And you did not like to stir the pot. You did not like, you wanted to keep the peace very much. So in order to please other people, in order to keep people on your good side, in order to, not necessarily to keep people on your good side, but in order to not upset people, to not be yelled at, to not be sort of like disregarded or cancelled, I want to say, for some reason, or not be rejected, you really would say or do things for people so that they would accept you, so that you would, and that is like a safety mechanism. It's a coping mechanism for the fear of rejection, because if you keep people happy, then of course that is going to most likely, or like at least I think so, most likely going to prevent rejection. They're going to embrace you, and they're going to see you in a positive light. But this is getting a little bit too much for you to bear, to bear and to carry, to bury. Your heart wants you to get to know your own boundaries. Your heart wants you to speak to it directly. This is a very specific message. Your heart wants you to speak to it, wants you to talk to it directly with words, with positive words. Your heart really wants you to pay attention to your inner dialogues, to the way that you're speaking to yourself, and to the way that you're allowing others to speak to yourself. Your heart really wants you to. You might be someone, like in the previous piles, I had energies of people who were very much in touch with their heart. You might be someone who is a little bit more detached. And I want to say unfamiliar with the energy of your own heart. So with this first house energy especially, I'm getting the strong need of your heart. Your heart is quite in pain, okay? There is quite some pain and turmoil and things, and there's a lot of emotions that you're not even familiar with because you're not really in touch with your heart. There's definitely a need to turn inwards. Like I'm especially with this image also, she has her eyes closed. Like your heart needs you to sit your ass down. Your heart, your guards, your body, everything within you needs you to sit your ass down and either meditate or just sit with your feelings. Really become aware of your body and become aware of yourself, become aware of your feelings. Like, where does it hurt? That's just something that I heard right now. Where does it hurt? Because you might have an attitude of sort of like pushing away negative feelings, because you probably have, as a child, like a lot of child, like inner child things are coming up right now for you. If this is triggering for some reason, if this is not, you don't have to sit through this, so feel free to click off to choose another pile. But I'm going to, of course, like have to say these things for those who do want to hear it, because it's coming through, so I'm going to say. You might have been a very, very deeply unhappy child growing up. This could have been for some specific reasons. This could have been for no specific reason at all. Of course, there's always a reason, but you know, trauma is not just one specific accident that traumatizes you for the rest of your life. Trauma can happen in a lot of different forms, in a lot of like subtle, constant, very subtle ways. You had a lot of pain throughout your whole life. You're probably a very sensitive person who is very sensitive to, you know, everything that is happening in the world, things that you don't like seeing, and you feel like all these negative energies are coming towards you while all you want is peace, while all you want is just to feel happy and feel good and feel at peace. But your heart is not at peace, and you don't want to deal with those negative emotions. You don't want to feel those negative emotions because you're like, I've had so much pain already. Like, I'm feeling so much pain already. Why do I have to go into those harmful things? Like, harmful. They're not harmful. Like, you see them as harmful. Why do I have to go into like those deep, dark feelings? I've had enough of those. Like, I've had pain my entire life. I just don't want to have to deal with pain anymore. The stay back attitude. This is something that you have within your own self. Well, you have to learn to do that on the outside. You're having a lot of resistance and I want to say neglect and rejection on the inside, but on the outside you're allowing basically everything to happen to you and to sort of like slide off of you, and you might be someone who has a lot of trapped anger, trapped tumultuous emotions, I want to say, but on the outside you might be very quiet, very slow, I want to say, very closed off within yourself. Like, you might be right now in a time period of your life where you're not really socializing, you're not really having the energy to pour into people, I want to say. And this is because so much of your energy is sort of like being sucked like a black hole within your heart that's sort of like sucking in all these tumultuous emotions that you're refusing to let out, and they're sort of like boiling inside of your chest. Like vortexing, boiling, sort of like spiraling within your chest. You might sometimes even have things like, you might have anxiety attacks where you really struggle breathing. You might feel tension in your throat. You might have other types of like chest pains, things like that. Something with the chest. You might be an air sign. We do have Sagittarius here, and Aries, as I mentioned, but it doesn't have to be. You're really in need of coming back towards yourself, coming back to yourself, and you might want to look into like different chakra blockages. I did one pick a pile on chakras, although I do not feel like that should be like the main direction that you're going into in this work. You might benefit from actually working with some type of like energy healer, energy worker, things like that. But you certainly are not in this alone, and you should not have to do this alone. The thing is, you're not alone with this card. This card also literally says like you're not alone. You have support from the divine, truthfully, but also like from people around you. You do have support, but support outside of yourself can only do so much if you're not, first of all, if you're not allowing others to support you, if you're not welcome, if you're not receiving that support, if you're not even open to receive that support. And second of all, if you don't act upon that support, if you don't take it in, if you don't embrace it fully, if you don't take actual physical actions to support yourself as well. Like your spirit guides can send you all the synchronicities, they can send you all the crystals, they can send you like all that type of support and help and signs, and other people can like give you book suggestions and give you like therapist suggestions. They can tell you like, I'm here if you need to talk, but if you don't take that help, then it's not going to help you. It's up to you if you let it help you. It's really up to you, and right now that's not something that you're doing. You're really rejecting yourself on the outside, and on the inside and on the outside there's basically not much. There's a sense of like, take it allegorically of course, but like there's a lot of things going on inside of you that you're not even, it's just like a very big chaos in the inside of you. And on the outside everything feels still, or like that's probably because sometimes you might feel the need to cancel things out on the outside because it's so overwhelming and so overburdening for you. And your heart really, really is asking you, it's begging you to sort of like sit still, like meditate. If you're not into meditation, and you've been having the feeling or like synchronicities that you should be starting to do meditation or yoga, things like that, just get in touch with your body. Yoga might be a very good thing for you. Just like maybe even just like having a walk outside, so like doing walk and meditation, things like that. If you struggle with with meditation, it might be beneficial for you to actually use things like YouTube or apps or whatever to help you with those meditations. There's probably a ton of like free meditations out there, like guided meditations that you can use. You can also use things like binaural beats or just like ambience music to focus on that. If you're someone who struggles with sort of like keeping their mind, I want to say mind in control, which is not the point of meditation, to control your mind, because you cannot do that. But I mean, that's a whole other topic. That's also not entirely true what I just said, but that's a topic for another time. I don't want to overwhelm you more than you're already feeling. But you're in need of coming back to stillness, and you have like peace of heart and peace of mind is everything that you crave at this time, possibly. But it seems so impossible for you to get there. And the reason why you're not receiving it, it's because you have this resistance towards it, this belief like, oh, I cannot reach that peace, that inner peace and inner settlement. But again, I feel the need and the call to tell you, meditation, yoga is especially good for like uniting, bringing back into one the mind and the body and the soul, if you will, but mind and body mainly. But yeah, let's have a look into what the tarot has to say to you, because I feel like otherwise I'm going to repeat myself, and I do not want to do that. Okay, let me put this away. So, what else does pile 3 need to know at this time? We're also going to, like, again, I want to make sure that you are aware that we're taking advice for you in a minute, so that you at least have something to work with or to pay attention to. But for now, let's go a little bit more in depth, about whatever messages that your heart needs you to hear at this time, because this pile is definitely, you guys might be a little overwhelmed, but your heart definitely has some strong, important messages for you, and the fact that you found this video, that you felt called to watch this video is the confirmation, basically. Okay, so for pile 3, what is your heart wanting to know, pile 3? We have the devil with restriction in reverse, Capricorn energy. Something told me to put it back upwards. Doesn't really matter. Like, sometimes they are relevant reversal, sometimes they're just not. This one doesn't really matter. So what else does pile 3 need to know? We have the 7 of Swords with mental scarcity, or scarcity mentality. Mental scarcity, is that even a thing? What else do we have here for pile 3? We have Ace of Cups with rebirth. You might have difficulty crying. Yeah. We have the Hermit, seek truth. Yeah, I was getting Hermit vibes. I'm not sure if I mentioned, I don't think so, but I was definitely getting Hermit vibes. What else do we have for pile? We have 4 of Wands with Homecoming. This one did want to come out in reverse. Don't ask me why, can't explain, but yeah. Now we have this one, which came out very fast. We have the 7 of Cups with choices. My candles went out. I think I'm gonna light those candles and be right back. Okay, so we're going to take clarifiers right away for you. We have Strength with number 8 and Compassion, Leo energy. What about the 7 of Clouds? 7 of Swords. That is a lot of cards, but I do feel like we have to take those. So we have the Page of Wands with Exploration. We have the Knight of Swords with Ambition. And we have the 4 of Cups with Contemplation. What about this 4 of Wands in reverse? Yeah, I'm hearing like you need to come home to yourself. There's definitely this need for stillness, even with this Hermit card. You might feel like your life is already pretty still at this time, but your internal world is definitely not still. Like, there's so much happening on the inside of you. And it might be a little contradictory because like, you might feel like you're not doing much with your life, in terms of like actual activities, like hobbies, like, I don't know, work, study, whatever it is that you're doing or not doing. You feel like not much is happening at all. So you're like, how does it make sense that I have to rest and chill and sit down? Because that's basically what I'm doing all the time anyways. You probably feel like you should be doing more. But that's a wrongful interpretation. Like, the reason why your heart is basically asking you so strongly to sit your ass down and just be with yourself, it's because you haven't been doing that. You have been escaping yourself. You have likely been avoiding yourself, I want to say. We have the Ace of Pentacles with opportunities. Yeah, again, that same energy of your guides, your friends, people around you, like the world, the universe is offering you opportunities and lending you a hand of help. But if you're not taking those opportunities, then they're not going to come into fruition. What about the 7 of Cups? What about the 7 of Cups? That is way too many cards. What about the Seven of Cups? Okay. We have the Two of Clouds with indecision. And on the bottom of the deck, we have the Two of Pentacles with priorities. Yeah, so this is definitely also a call to like simplify. That's a word that I heard at the beginning as well, that I didn't mention because it wasn't applicable yet, but you need to simplify. Like, I feel like you feel like your whole internal world is this big puzzle piece, this big puzzle project with like 1,053,000,000 little puzzle pieces that you have to first find, and then you have to then piece them together, and you're kind of like searching for answers in the wrong place and in the wrong way. You're making it much more complex and complicated than it really is. That's also why there's this need of sort of like bringing back your energy towards yourself and sort of like into this one point within you, instead of there's rough and tough, I want to say, agitated, like what you would consider bad emotions inside of you, things like anger and resentment and pain and regret, whatever it is, like jealousy, things like that, that you really see as bad emotions, that you're kind of mad about having in the first place. Like, you're like, I don't want to feel this way. I don't want to feel anger. I don't want to feel pain. I don't want to feel jealousy. Like, it's unfair that I have to feel this way. This Strength card, first of all, you're resisting those emotions. Like, you're literally resisting parts of yourself. You're resisting yourself with this Devil card. But this Strength card is really calling you to sort of like not tame. You don't have to like push those emotions down. You don't have to literally tame those emotions, but be gentle with those emotions. Be welcoming of those emotions. Be like, okay, I see you. You have a reason of being there. You have to caretake those emotions as much as you would want to caretake things like peace and love and beauty and happiness and comfort. Because these emotions exist within you, and they're not just going to go away just because you ignore them, or because you wanna sort of like shush them out, or you wanna push them away. Like, they're there, and the more you ignore them, the more you get mad at them. Because you kind of get mad at your own emotions. You're like, I don't want to feel you. Like, anger, you suck, you're hurting me. Pain, you suck, you're hurting me. Can you just like not be here? I don't want you. And that's you're doing that to parts of your own self. That's also why I'm having this feeling of you need to come back towards yourself, because you're literally separating from yourself. You're literally separating, like rejecting parts of yourself, and you need to sort of like come closer to those parts. You don't have to. You should not keep pushing yourself away, parts of yourself away. You should come back to yourself. And again, what does that mean in practical terms? Like, sit with your own emotions, center your energy, look inwards, look at those feelings that you're feeling, look at those emotions, and be like, okay, you're part of me, and you're allowed to be here. You're allowed to be here, and there's nothing wrong with you. Anger, there's nothing wrong with you. Pain, there's nothing wrong with you. Jealousy, there's nothing wrong with you. Sadness, there's nothing wrong with you. Come here and let me give you a hug. That's how you should be talking to yourself. That I also mentioned in the beginning, I offer words of good intent. You literally, like, if you need some practical advice because you don't know where to freaking start, which is something like a state that I feel like you are probably mentally and on a heart level in right now. Like, you don't know what to do, you don't know what to think, you don't know where to look, you feel a lot of confusion and turmoil. Talk to yourself. Like, journal if that helps. Go in front of a mirror. If a mirror is too confrontational, too uncomfortable for you, just like talk to yourself, like in your own head. Then you can do that, like literally speaking to yourself out loud. You can literally journal. You need to talk to yourself in a positive and loving way. Like, make it a priority to ban all negative words from your own inner vocabulary and inner dialogue with yourself. Because you're likely very unkind with yourself. Be gentle with yourself. That is something that is coming through very strongly for you. I feel the need to pull a little bit more cards for you, but I want to do that with another deck. This is the Modern Witch Tarot deck. I'm not sure if I'm going to get more messages in this because honestly, like, I was looking at these cards and I wasn't really getting like any specific messages from the cards in general until I said that thing about, you know, extending compassion about your towards yourself. And I don't want to make it overly complicated because that's the whole message that is being transmitted here. You have to simplify, narrow your focus. Like, if it helps, just look at this reading again and maybe take notes or something. I don't know, but don't make it more complex than it already is, because you are in so much turmoil already, and so much like scattered, ungrounded, shaky energy. And you don't want to add to that. Like, you have to simplify instead of like take a deep breath and come home back to yourself. Okay, so we're just going to see if something else needs to come out here. And otherwise, we're just going to move to advice for you and channel messages. We have the Ace of Wands. See, we have the Ace of Gems, the Ace of Cups, and the Ace of Pentacles, the Ace of Cups, and the Ace of Wands. Again, not getting any specific messages, just from the fact that go back to step one. Go back to... Just go back to step one. Go back to the origin, I want to say. That need of simplification, of going back, indeed. Because you're kind of, sometimes maybe a little bit ahead of yourself. Do we have more messages here for pile 3 with the 10 of Swords? Yeah, again, the need for rest. Like, there's not much you can do with all these swords in your back. If there's so much... Acupuncture might be something that you want to look into. That's very specific and very interesting. We have Justice on the bottom of the deck, so Libra energy might be relevant. But yes, there's need for rest. And King of Pentacles, again, like the slow, steady, earthy energy, like need for stillness. And the Emperor in reverse, Aries energy. Also, we have here earth elements. We have basically a lot of different energies. It does not have to be relevant astrologically speaking. Yeah. Honestly, that's all the messages that I feel the need to convey to you. Like, I don't even feel the need to look into more specific messages from the specific cards. That's all that you needed to hear from these cards. Now let's look into some channeled messages from your heart to you, and your spirit guide, or your higher self. Any messages that need to come through to you, anything that you need to pay attention to or be aware of. Let's see, what do we have for down to earth? Exactly. Bring yourself back down to earth. Earthing, like literally go sit out inside of the, like under a tree or something and touch some grass. I also feel really like my energy in the previous pile was absolutely all over the place. It's super energized, and now I'm just feeling the need to sort of like come down to earth and really spare energy. Like, I don't want to say that many words. That's this energy of like, you need to spare, simplify, come back to yourself. Again, first house and all these aces, like there's this need to come back to yourself. Slow down. What the fuck? Come on. Like, literally, oh my god. Okay, I just saw this. I honestly don't know when I pulled this. I was in a little bit of a weird trance state just now for a couple seconds. Slow down. Yes, exactly. What else do we have for pile 3? I want to take one more for pile 3, please. One more for pile 3, please. One more for pile 3, please. Excess. Yeah, again, like that, the extremities and the intensity, or like the extent to which you're... I honestly don't recall what I was talking about at the beginning. This is a very strange energy that I'm in right now. Yeah, have a look at the extent to which you're doing things and the way in which you're doing things and whether they're benefiting you or not. I'm sorry if this is a little confusing. Let's see. I'm going to take one of these cards for you guys. What advice do we have for pile 30 at this time? Okay. So we have number 44 with universal love. The frequency of universal love activates the connection we feel to each other, to our planet, and to the whole of existence itself. Yeah, there's this disconnection between you and yourself and the outer world as well. Like, of course, like, if you can only be in touch with the universe and others around you to the extent in which you're in touch with yourself, which you're not really in touch with yourself at this time, with the truth of your heart. So that is definitely a call from your heart. Your heart is sort of like screaming for attention. Pay attention to me. It seems like I'm here. Don't ignore me. Don't shut me down. Don't like drown me in alcohol or something like that. But please feel me, because I need to be felt. Okay, so I want to pull some spirit animals for you that might be relevant, and then we're going to take these flipped over, but we're not going to. This one feels relevant. We have the ladybug with good luck. You are a bright energy. Let worry and be happy. Let worry go and be happy here and now. Feel good about being a loving and colorful you. You bless the world with color and good luck. That is very cute. What else? What other animals do we have for pile 3? What other animals do we have? We have the horse with freedom. Your heart is pure and free. A greater purpose calls you. You have unlimited reserves of stamina and strength. You follow the winds of change and accomplish your dreams. This is a call for you to embody this energy. But of course, first you need to do whatever it is that we just said, which is coming back to yourself and sit in stillness and feel your emotions and caretake your emotions like they need to be caretaken. And that will lead you to that state of freedom, of your heart as being pure and free, and having unreserved, limitless reserves of stamina and strength. We have the black bear with guardian. Yeah, your guides are definitely coming through very strongly. Gentle and wise protector, give me your confidence and power. Help me protect the ones I love. Awaken my intuition and guide me. What about, what else? We have one more. We're going to take one more because I want to take one more for pile 3. One more spirit animal that is relevant for pile 3. I'm just going to say, like, it doesn't feel super relevant. These animals, yes, sure, they have definitely messages for you, but they don't feel as relevant as, for instance, like the previous pile. Because again, you don't need to focus on so many things. You don't need to focus on like looking for synchronicities or looking for signs or whatever. Just like looking at a lot of tarot readings. You need to simplify because you're already so overloaded. We have frog with prosperity. Let go of the past and embrace change. Opportunities are close at hand. Hop into this new day with joy, abundance, and good fortune await you. And on the bottom of the deck, we have Loon with intuitive. Listen to the song in your soul. Trust your intuition as you have a way of knowing. Emerge from the busy life and seek more solitude. Seek more solitude. There you go. Recognize that you're unique and that you're loved. And not solitude in the sense of like shut yourself out from the outside world. But turn inwards. That hermit energy that is very much needed. Like I also had this feeling with these tarot cards that we pulled that the major arcanas that we had, so like the devil, the strength, and the hermit, those were very relevant, but the rest did not feel relevant for some reason. It just didn't feel really like they had anything to say, honestly. It's very strange energy. Okay, what does the Rebel deck want you to know at this time, pile 3? What messages do we have for pile 3? You got a feeling you just can't shake. That little voice inside of you, listen to that shit. Yes, sometimes I don't like the advice that this deck gives, but sometimes it's just so on point and we love to hear it. What else? We're going to take one more for you, and that is too many. So, okay, well, you need some fucking yoga in your life. Ancient shit is cool. I'm gonna keep that because it feels relevant, because that's literally what I mentioned earlier. So, double sign, if that's something that calls to you, definitely go into that. And last one is, don't believe every shitty thought you have. Thoughts can be sneaky, lying bastards. Exactly. Yeah, pile 3, I'm sorry if this was disappointing. I really hope that it gave you some type of value, some type of insight. Simplify. That's the only message that you need. Come home to yourself, come home to your own heart, listen to your own heart and your feelings. Come home to yourself and simplify. I really hope that this gave you something, some type of value. Definitely do feel free to leave me a comment down below to let me know how this resonated. You don't have to, absolutely. Like, if you don't want to, then just don't, please. But I would always love to hear how these piles resonate with you on the other side of the screen. And definitely also feel free to leave a like and subscribe, as that really helps me with the algorithm. And thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. Take care of yourself. Hi, pile 4. If you chose this beautiful, I'm obsessed with this crystal, this beautiful white Afghan jade and the Moonchild tarot, this is going to be a reading, and we're essentially going to channel your heart. Okay, so in the previous piles we did have spirit guides and or higher selves come through, so definitely do keep in mind that. But first we're going to look into these pre-shuffled oracles here that I have for you in order to see essentially how your heart is doing at this time, the type of energy that your heart is in at this moment when you're finding this reading. So this is a timeless reading, so it should be good for whenever you find it. Do remember that, of course, first of all, it's more than normal than to be attracted to more than one pile. If the first part of the reading, if you don't resonate with it, if it doesn't feel like you, then definitely do feel free to choose another pile. And the usual jazz, like it's a collective reading, so definitely do remember to only take what resonates. You will know which messages are for you, which ones aren't. But yeah, afterwards we're going to look into the tarot to go a little bit more in depth about whatever it is that your heart wants you to know or to pay attention to. And then at the end of each pile we have taken, and we will be doing that with this pile as well, some advice for you as well as channeled as well as channeled messages. Oh my god, I'm tired. Excited to do this reading, but my brain gets a little smooshy after a while. But yeah, we're going to take channel messages for you from your heart at this time, and also we're going to take spirit animals pulls. So yeah, without further ado, let's see what we have here for you. We have jump in, Andromedan energy, adventure, say yes to change. Then we have number 17, or 8 numerology with make believe. Then we have number 67, which reduces to 13 or 4 in numerology with visions. Then we have I act respectfully of others. Then we have opposition. Then we have speak out, communicate, and solve the conflicts. Yeah, solve the conflicts. And last but not least, we have number 13 with Ishel. If you pronounce it that way, I'm not entirely sure. Medicine of the Rainbow Jaguar. So, pile 4. You might be currently... First of all, we have quite some rainbow imagery with this card and this card as well. So you might definitely resonate with LGBT energy. You might be part of the LGBTQ plus community. Doesn't have to be you. You can also still resonate with this energy, with this reading if you're not. There's definitely a lot about transition, about crossing over from one side to the other, and specifically with these pretty much all cards, this could definitely be about some type of relationship. Like this could definitely, you could be dealing, it doesn't have to be because it could still apply, but I feel like for a lot of you resonating with this pile, you will either be almost on the brink on the brink of that on the brink of a breakup with like a partner, a long-term partner, or a could even be a friendship, like on the brink of a separate, like you might be evaluating like is this type of connection, is this connection that I'm in right now, is it worth to continue, is it serving me, is it, has it run its course, has it done its job, is there more there to explore, or is it over? It might have definitely been a some type of connection that has brought you a lot of conflict and a lot of this definitely might have been, like, again, I always use these terms very sparingly, but it definitely might have been a type of like twin flame or soulmate type of connection, since we do have quite some mirroring energy. So it definitely might have been a connection that, it could also be like some type of other experience, like a job experience or whatever it is. Like, take it as it resonates for you specifically. This could even be like another part of you, literally just like a part of yourself that you're wanting to leave behind. But this is a lot about crossing over and transitioning into safer waters. I'm getting Six of Swords vibes. But this has definitely been a situation or a connection that has mirrored, like it's been extremely healing. I want to say it's been extremely crumbling as well, since it has been very much likely a tough journey with a lot of conflict and sort of like colliding energy and a lot of Mars energy. I want to say probably a lot of like arguments and fights and just a lot of hardship. This card specifically, there is quite some Kali vibes to this pile, definitely. This card is, she also talks, like the medicine of the rainbow jaguar, she also talks about getting rid, destroying all that doesn't serve you, all that sort of keeps you back and holds you back, all that isn't worth it anymore, all that is not worth pouring your energy into anymore. But I feel like she has a lot gentler and a lot more gentle energy than Kali herself. With this make-believe and this visions card, I feel like part of you might know that it is time to move on from this situation. And mind you, if this is about a relationship and that you're considering, you know, putting an end to this relationship and breaking up, putting an end to the situation does not necessarily strictly have to mean breaking up and parting ways and separating from each other. This could literally mean like things how they have been going so far up until now need to end, and there's a big need of a shift, whatever way that looks like. Just things how they have been going up until so far for you, whatever case scenario it is, whether it be a relationship, whether it be like a some type of pattern that you have been in, some type of, like, it could be anything, a situation, a job, of whatever, how you have been doing things so far it cannot keep going like that. It has to end, either by literally just like cutting it off and moving on from it, or by transmuting it into something. Because with this make-believe and vision cards, there is this tinge of, I'm going to pretend, like there's this resistance of looking into reality for what it is. What is happening in your direct, practical, direct environment? What is happening in the 3D? Like, if this is about a person, which again, for a lot of you, I feel like this is about a person. You might, since this is a heart chakra reading, this is a heart energy reading, you might have so much love and so much hope and so much beautiful, bright, expanding energy for this person inside of your heart. Like in the 5D, you guys might be very much in love and in effortless connection and effortless mutual exchange of energy, and just like on the same level on the 5D, like your soul level connection is absolutely immaculate, it's perfect, it's beautiful, it's loving, it's wholesome, it's everything. But what is happening in the 3D? What is happening with this person on the physical level? Is there compatibility? Is there the same level of beauty and easy flowing love and energy that exists in your thoughts and in your feelings and on a soul level? Because this pile is telling me there is a lot of conflict and a lot of turbulence and a lot of just like disrupted energy in the 3D, while at the same time on another level, like on a 5D soul level, there is this beautiful connection, this loving, soulful, I want to say, connection. But is it matching? The answer is likely no, it's not matching. So it is up to you right now. Like, your heart is asking you, like, what do you want to do with the situation? There is this jump in, say yes, like jump in, as well as say yes to change. Like, this will, like, the practical solution. I mean, we will look into the tarot in a minute and advise, see if we have a little bit more insight on the situation with that. But I feel like the practical solution will differ for all of you. But this is really asking, like, do you want to go deeper into the situation and sort of dig deeper and look at your patterns with, like, look at each other's parents. Okay, I was not planning on saying that, but I guess that might be relevant for some of you. But look at each other's patterns and, like, look at your own patterns. And do you want to? This card, this is an eye. I don't know if you can see it from the camera, but it's like this diving into this galaxy, which is also an eye, which is also sort of like a body of water. So this is basically an invitation to jump in and dive deeper into the subconscious, into shadow work, into whatever it is, like work with your partner. I'm getting like tantric practices and tantric rituals, things like that. Or is it worth it? Like, is it worth it? If yes, then you owe it to yourself. Like, the only solution is to actually go in there, because you cannot keep going as things have been going so far, because it's just not healthy, not for you, not for the other person. And you're living essentially in a dreamy world. You're living according to the potential that this connection has. You're living according to what it was, what it could be, and those little few instances in which things were perfect. But what is the reality? What is the reality like? And you're not a victim of you're not a victim of the current state of things. It's not set in stone. Like, you still have the power to change that if that's what you want. If you do want to change the situation as it is right now, then you owe it to yourself to follow that. And for others of you, the answer will be, is it worth it? Probably not. Is there something to reconcile? Probably not. Like, these are questions that you have to ask yourself and look at what reality is, because you're living in this make-believe visions, like, up in the air. 12th house Pisces energy I'm getting now. Type of energy, and this is not healthy for you, because you're bypassing your physical reality. You're bypassing your human self. Like, you cannot deny yourself, your own human existence, if that makes sense. You cannot deny your own human beingness. Your human body, your human emotions, your human experiences are very valid, and you should not bypass those, or like try to deem them as less valid than your 5D soul level occurrences and instances. Like, you should not forget about this. There's definitely this urge to grounding, and to look at what your reality is like in the 3D. So now for the tarot, I started shuffling already, but I need to put these on the side first. So that was a quite quick, straightforward message, actually. I'm really curious to see what is going to come out in the tarot for you guys. This deck is humongous. It's really hard to shuffle, but we love this deck. It's a beautiful deck. I'm having, ever since, like, just since before I started shuffling your pile, and before I started filming, I'm having this song from, like, Shawn Mendes' last song. What is it called? That it says something like, I will love you either way. Like, I will love you either way. Yeah, that song. I don't know how it goes the rest, but I'm just hearing that little verse over and over in my head. Never love you either way. Okay, so what do we want pile 4 to know? Messages from pile 4's heart to them, please. We're going to put these back because it feels very weird. I'm going to shuffle again. Okay, Okay, Spirit, give us some messages from Pile 4's heart to Pile 4, please. What does Pile 4's heart need Pile 4 to know about this situation in specific? What does Pile 4 need to do or know about the situation for their heart? So, oh, what did I just tell you guys? Okay, we have the Shadow Work card, which is a very specific card to this deck. Very relevant, because I believe I said that earlier. Like, if you feel called to do more shadow work, I mean, shadow work is always a good idea. No matter the outcome, no matter which direction you decide to go with this connection, with this situation, whatever it is that this is about, shadow work will always be necessary, I want to say. So, I do have a shadow work pick a pile reading as well on my channel, so I'm going to put that in the cards if I don't forget. But if I forget and you cannot see anything pop up right now about that, then I guess you can go on my channel page and just type in shadow, and you will find that. There's also just like a playlist about things like personal healing and shadow work readings on there. So what else does Pile 4 need to know about their heart? What does their heart want them to know? We have the Three of Cups. This is telling me, like, if this is about a connection, which again, I feel like for a lot of you this will be, some healthy distraction is needed, okay? You cannot be constantly focusing on the shadow work. Balance this shadow work and healing energy and also enjoyment. Like, spend time with your friends, just hang out, do stupid shit, not stupid shit in the sense of like reckless shit that makes you in danger, but go on adventures, like go on day trips with your friends, just like be silly, unwind, I want to say. What else? Messages from Pile 4's heart, please, Spirit. Pile 4's heart, please, Spirit. Justice. Libra energy. What else? More messages from Pile 4's heart to Pile 4, please, Spirit. What does Pile 4's heart need Pile 4 to know? Yeah, a lot of rainbow energy. So we have the Ace of Cups. I'm going to put these back. If they have to come out, they will. Okay, so we have the Knight of Pentacles. And are we going to take one? Yeah, we're going to take one more. Okay. The Seven of Pentacles. I'm going to take clarifiers right away. What about the Shadow Work card? Messages from Pile 4's heart to Pile 4, please. What about the Shadow Work card? What about the Shadow Work card, please? Oh. I'm going to put this back. What about the Shadow Work card, please? Do I have to take this? I guess we're going to take this. We have the Three of Swords. I'm going to put the other ones back. This could be about opening up your relationship to non-monogamy, polyamory, or it could have involved some type of deceit, since we do have 2 threes. Yeah, we have the Eight of Cups. What about this Justice card, please? What about this Justice card, please? Wow, we have the Ace of Wands. Some of you might feel the urge to... I'm not getting very pretty images. Some of you might have the urge to get vindicative if someone hurt you indeed, like betrayed you, and give them what they deserve. And with that, I want to say that is a very fair thought. Although that is hurting more you than the other person, it's going to probably solve absolutely nothing. Karma is a thing that doesn't need you to put your hand into any situation. Karma is a thing that just works on itself. It's just the law of the universe, and it will take care of itself. So you don't need to go that road. Take that as it resonates. To clarify the Ace of Cups, we have the Ten of Wands. What about the Knight of Pentacles? I'm going to put this back. What about the Knight of Pentacles? We have the Four of Cups. What about the Seven of Pentacles? I guess we're just going to take these two that wanted to come out. We have Temperance and the Two of Pentacles to clarify this Seven of Pentacles right here. And on the bottom of the deck, wow, we have the Star. Below that is the High Priestess and Death. Holy crackers. Okay. So I'm getting a very specific case scenario for some of you. This is definitely not going to resonate with everyone. But for some of you, this is... So the tarot is definitely about a relationship, okay? A relationship that is sort of like... sort of wobbling between moving forward and being dropped down. I'm getting the image of slack lines where you're sort of like trying to balance yourself, and you're like, am I going to fall in and break my neck, or am I going to, like, you know, find my balance again and keep going? That's the energy that your connection is at this time. There is a lot of, I want to say, harsh emotions and harsh dynamics in the 3D between the two of you, and potentially a third party. For some of you, or not necessarily a specific third party that is like undesired by one of you, which is likely you if you're looking into this reading. It doesn't have to be, could literally be from your partner. For some others of you, I was getting that this was someone that you were talking, like, that you were planning on having a child with. Take this as a detail, like as a confirmation detail if this resonates, because I don't feel like it's necessarily very relevant to the narrative of this pile in general, because again, it will not resonate with everyone. But this is definitely someone who you thought you were going to, probably you promised each other like forever and happily ever after, and we're soulmates, we're going to be forever together. But right now it's sort of like this idea is sort of kind of crumbling in between your fingers. There's this need to go deeper, but also a kind of resistance. There's some type of dynamic that exists between the two of you that is resisting this going deeper within each other and coming closer to each other. With this Ace of Cups and the Ten of Wands, you might be the one, although this will differ, but you might be the one in this connection, in this relationship, that is always trying to make the first move to rekindle things, to heal things. Like, do you want to talk? Do you want to talk about this? What should we do about it? Like, you might be the one who is sort of always trying to fix things and wanting to work on things, while your partner might not put the same type of effort into the connection with you. And I want to say, for some of you, I'm getting the idea that you guys are just like so different, that you have such different values, that something that you value deeply might be just something that your partner just does not necessarily really value, and flip-flopped as well. We have this Temperance card and the Two of Pentacles, which has a very similar energy, but again, like, I'm seeing these energies as Temperance is like a higher 5D soul type of level, and the Two of Pentacles, which is earth energy, is the 3D. So like, there's this need of balancing whatever energy is that you guys are living in the 5D, because that's still beautiful, and that is still real. It's just not in this dimension. It's just not happening in this dimension right now, and you guys need to figure out why that is. And you guys need to do that separately. Like, this of course is specifically for you, Your heart is really asking you to look into your heartbreak. Your heart is asking you, like, if we could literally easily just like put all these cards away and keep these two for you. Look at why is it hurting? You have to do the inner work with this. We also have the Four of Cups, which is also about sort of, in this case specifically, it is about, like, look, this is not the typical standard Four of Cups cards. She is not looking at any of those cups. She's just focused on herself. She's focused on aligning her own, I want to say her own chakras, her own ducks. She needs to focus on herself, and this is really you. You need to focus on yourself. Here we have another card that is all about aligning, like Seven of Pentacles. Like, why are things not happening right now? There's a very specific reason why this situation currently is occurring, and why things are not happening as you would hope them to happen. There is so much potential. There's so much potential for having emotional fulfillment and having this beautiful type of love with this person, and not necessarily strictly with this person, but within you. Like, I would strongly recommend that you have a look into one of my most recent readings, which is Why Is This Love Not Manifesting? Because this honestly feels like it would have belonged in that reading as well. But yeah, definitely go have a look at that if it resonates, because there might be some very relevant messages for you there. There is this desire to make things work and to have a beautiful life together with this person. But there are certain mechanisms at play within you that are blocking you from manifesting this thing. And it might be because you're pouring your energy into things that are just, I want to say, pointless, or like they might feel as pointless, but then there's so much to uncover here. Like, this is not necessarily going a lot in depth about what those mechanisms are. That's also why I'm saying, like, if you felt called to that other reading, then definitely do go have a look at that, because there might be some clarity here for you. This is just literally asking you to look at the reality that your 3D connection with this person, like, in reality, for what it is right now, it's not that potential. It's not that beautiful 5D emotional soul level connection that you have with them. It's just really wobbly and shaky and unstable and not very pleasant all of the time, and it's not equal, it's not balanced, it's just not what you want, it's not what you deserve, it's not supposed to be like this. And this is really asking you to recognize that, to sort of like drop those masks and drop that wishful thinking, I want to say, and drop the idea of being in love with the potential and this person's soul, because you're not living with their soul, you're living with this person's physical self. Yes, you guys have souls and you guys are twin flames and whatnot, but what is happening with your human selves? You cannot forget about your human selves in a human connection, okay? This is really asking you, look at your humanness. Please, like this, your heart is begging you, look at the human thing. Stop trying to not be human. One of the most beautiful things about being human is having this heart that is feeling all these things and desiring and yearning for things and human touch and things like that. Like, look at the human things. Look for the beauty in being human. Because you might be someone who wants to escape being human because you've had so much trouble from being human. Because being human is not always very easy. It's not... The 3D Earth is not necessarily a very easy or always pleasant type of dimension, okay? That's the whole essence of this planet, of this dimension. So, but we have to learn. We're here to learn how to deal with this dimension. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here. And I have a feeling that indeed you're living in this state of, oh, I'm going to wait because whatever will come to me will come to me. Whatever is meant for me is meant for me, and whatever needs to crumble will crumble. Yes, but if you keep resisting all those, if you're not going deeper into it, if you're not moving away from it, if you're not changing it, then things will always stay the same and they will just hurt more more extent, if you're not taking any action, if you're only ever waiting and assuming that everything will take care of itself, like, yes, in a certain way it does, but you should also not take that as your safety net for everything, and just like refuse to take any action, or refuse to look at reality for what it is, and refuse to speak out, and just drop all responsibility, because you are responsible for yourself. You are responsible for your part of the relationship. You're responsible for your actions, your words, your energy towards other people and yourself, I want to say. You should not forget about that, about your responsibilities towards yourself, because you might be in this sort of like limbo state of, oh, I'm just hanging here and seeing what happens. Yes, that is feminine energy, yes, being in the flow and surrender, but that is sort of like the one extreme passive end of the spectrum. There's definitely quite some stagnant energy in this pile. Stillness and just like lack of forward movement. But okay, let's see at some channeled messages. Okay, so we have one card. Oh, we have a lot of cards, but like on the back of the deck, we had this card which says move. I'm going to take only the cards that fall on the table, because again, these small decks for some reason tend to like flip over cards very easily. I'm not going to take those. So okay, we have discipline. Yeah, this call to sort of like not only overly rely on your feminine, energetic attraction energies, but also sort of like drop a little bit more into that masculine. Like your heart is almost being like, listen, you cannot only rely on me. Like you need to take care of yourself as well a little. That's kind of the vibe that I'm getting. Storm. Yeah, your physical reality with this person feels like a storm. Ebb and flow. That's also again that vibe of feminine and masculine, balancing things out, as above so below. It's interesting because when I saw this card at the beginning, it really gave me the idea of as above so below, with this like mirroring energy with the hands. And it's also like the magician in a lot of cards. It's like this magician with a hand up and a hand down to symbolize that as above so below. There needs to be more balance and more connection in that sense between your higher self and your physical human 3D self. Unfit. Okay, yeah, so some of you guys are definitely dealing with some incompatibility with your partner, which again, it's not something like I act respectfully to others and speak out. There's probably just like a very big barrier of communication between the two of you, and this for some of you, this will definitely just need a lot more communication between the two of you. Again, this does not mean that you have to strictly walk away from this connection, because it's just not gonna work. You will have to see how that applies to you. What else do you have for pile 4? Wow. We have separation. You guys are basically already separated on many different levels. And that's also it. Like you guys are very connected on some levels, but very separated in some other levels. And you have to sort of like find a middle way between that. You have to find a way to match that, to match those two energies. Because you cannot be with someone and be separated from them at the same time. That's really painful. This is like push and pull. That's sort of like a rubber band. Now I'm hearing Sia song, like I'm like a rubber band. What was it? Like basically like I got thick skin and an elastic heart. I'm like a rubber band until you pull too hard. What happens, of course, like it's snapping or like deforms, and it's not, it doesn't fulfill its purpose anymore. Avoidance of reality. That's the first thing that I heard with this card. Like you're avoiding to look at reality for what it is. Again, alchemy. Okay, that is interesting. There might be a specific synchronicity for some of you. It's interesting because I mentioned like the magician and as above so below. Okay, so we're going to take those. Oh my god, you guys. On the back of the deck, incompatible. take that only if it resonates. This is not saying that you guys are incompatible. This will resonate, like, it's something to look into. Remember that we do have the very first card that came out for you is shadow work, okay? So there's a lot of work here to do. A lot of inner work, but also outer work. You can also not only be doing the inner work and not, like, there's only so much healing that you can do within yourself and on your own. The rest of the healing, like, there has to be a point, there has to come a point in life where that healing takes place on the outside of you, like in your physical reality with other people in connection, okay? Busy. Priorities, that's what I heard with that. Sharing in terms of thoughts and emotions, and speak out and just share your thoughts and your energy with each other more. Blind, how fitting is that with these images, with make believe and visions? What is it that you're not looking at? Absence, again, this feeling of you're not really here in the 3D. You're not really looking at your reality. But okay, I've said that a billion times by now. I'm going to take one of these cards. This is Sacred Geometry Activation Oracle. I love this deck so much. And then afterwards we're going to look into... So honestly, since this was supposed to be... Well, this is very much about your heart. These are the messages that your heart had for you. I do not feel like this is necessarily coming from like a spirit guide or whatever. This is literally the energy of your heart that your heart is asking you to look into. Because this whole situation is definitely having a toll on your heart. Okay. What advice... Oh, okay. We have solar plexus and heart chakra on the bottom of the deck. But we have solar plexus chakra with number 3. The frequency of the solar plexus chakra, the yellow flower of life, supports our sense of self, our personal power, and our willpower, as well as our knowing of who we are and what our contribution is to the world. I mentioned it in one of the previous piles. I'm just going to leave this card right here because... Oh, this card reads... The frequency of the heart chakra, the green flower of life, supports our capacity to love deeply and unconditionally. Its healing properties harmonize the mind and the body. Exactly. There's this need to harmonize the 5D and the 3D, your heart and your body, and the metaphysical with the physical. But I mentioned it in one of the earlier piles. The solar plexus has a lot to do with like the body and the physical realm. I'm not going to go into depth into that because that was a very specific download that I received recently, and I haven't been able to dive deep into that yet. So sounds very vague. Just wanted to mention that. But again, this whole need of like balancing the physical and the non-physical. And then we also had this card flipping over number 21 or 3 with Divine Feminine. The frequency of Divine Feminine supports a receptive, nurturing, and soft side, allowing it to express itself openly and helping us to connect to our intrinsic understanding of our connection to all of creation. Exactly. There's this need for back and forth 3D energy with your partner because your heart is not being put out there. Your heart is being blocked by that, essentially. Blocked and burdened, I want to say. And again, with that speak out card that we had at the beginning, communicate and solve the conflict. Communication is something that is very much needed between the two of you. Now, for spirit animals, for you, pile 4. You can take these at like synchronicities or animals that you have to pay attention to when they come into your conscious awareness. What animals do we have? What spirit animals do we have for pile 4? What animals are relevant for pile 4? What spirit animals are relevant for pile 4? So we have the eagle with mastery. You are on a spiritual journey beyond the sky. Let go of the past and soar. You're guided by the winds of spirit. Your wisdom inspires the world. There is something about the world. There's this something about like expanding and going out into the world. Like you guys, some of you might have air placements, I want to say. Like your partner might have air placements. Moose, wisdom. Let your head and mind reach to the stars, yet keep your feet grounded on the earth. Bruh, literally. What have I been saying up until now? Listen to the ancient wisdom in your soul. The ancestors speak through you. You know much. What else? What other spirit animal do we have for pile 4? What other spirit animal do we have for pile 4? What other spirit animals do we have for pile 4? Okay. We have the Lynx, Keeper of Secrets. Okay, take time out from the world and be the observer. Nothing can deceive you when you trust your knowing. You see other secrets and keep them sacred. In silence and solitude, you will find your strength. It is interesting because below the star, we have the High Priestess. So there's definitely some type of secrecy going on here. And honestly, I don't have much more information coming in through about this. Probably because, like, this might be... Take this with a pinch of salt, please. This might definitely be a... message for some of you that there is some type of secrecy that is not coming from you because we don't have much information about that, but that is coming from someone else. Yeah, because there definitely is an element of secrecy. You will know how, like, if this has to apply to you. Tiger, fire. I choose to be unstoppable. My passion is my power. I am bold. I am brave. Mighty forces come to my aid. That sounded almost like a little poem. I want to take one more for you guys. Okay, so we have Humpback Will, singer, sing healing songs for the world, this throat chakra energy. Your inner navigation always guides you. Nothing can stop you or keep you from your goal. Align with your purpose and the power in your soul. That is also, like, that also rhymes. And on the back of the deck, we have the squirrel, always prepared. You are the expert of hard work and hard play. Your cheerful and fun disposition is a blessing to everyone. Don't let life's distractions take you off course. Make a plan for the future and life will give you all you need. Yeah. So if there's one thing that you take away from this reading, pile 4, is to not live in the spirit realm too much, not live in your dreams and in potentials, but look at your grounded reality and this, essentially. But at the same time, don't forget to also enjoy yourself, because you should not, like, be bothering yourself. Like, shadow work should not be the only thing that we do in life. We should not always be trying to heal more and more and more. Yes, we should use that to, like, live a better life, but eventually why we do shadow work in the first place is to be able to enjoy ourselves more and not to be blocked anymore. Okay, so pile 4, thank you so much for watching. Definitely do feel free to leave me a comment down below letting me know how this resonated, as it means the world to me to know how these readings land on the other side of the screen, and I really hope it gave you some type of value or insight. Definitely also feel free to leave a like and subscribe, as that really helps me with the algorithm. And thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.